And we welcome you live here to the Bradford Sports Network, live from Richard Dick Blake Stadium here to kick off the 2025 high school football season here in Brevard County at the home of the three-time defending state champions, the Cocoa Tigers, as they play host to a team that they saw most recently back in December of 2023 up on the campus of Florida A&M in the state championship game, being the Bradford Tornadoes. As we welcome you here live to the Brevard Sports Network, I am Jackson Robb here as we get set to go for kickoff classic action from Cocoa for one of the highest stakes kickoff classics I have ever been in attendance for and that I've seen over the last 4 years plus here in Brevard County. As again, this is a matchup of two teams. Although it's just a preseason game, these are two teams that could see each other again late in the month of November or even into the month of December as we see Cocoa and Bradford facing off here in the preseason to get things started for game 1 of 4 tonight on the Brevard Sports Network. So we also have Rockledge and Heritage, as well as the Melbourne Bulldogs kicking off their season later tonight as well on the Brevard Sports Network. As I'll be joined tonight as well by a new member of the Brevard Sports Network in Mr. Brian Kelly as we bring you in here now to Richard Dick Blake Stadium. As in about 9 minutes time, we'll get set for kickoff here of the now post-Brady Hart, Javen Boggs era here at Cocoa High School. As they have graduated, now at the helm, it's the former Spanish River quarterback, number 13, the junior Champ Smith, will be taking over the helm for the Cocoa Tigers as Cocoa returning very few players on the offensive side of the ball, have a little bit more experience defensively, but are losing 4-star defensive end Javion Hilson as well to the University of Missouri. But so the defensive unit with more seniority, the offense with more question marks tonight. On the other side of the field for Bradford, it's going to be a sophomore quarterback taking his first steps to lead this program here tonight, as well as a lot of returning talent in the running back room and the wide receiver core, but a few more gaps when it comes to defense and some new faces there as well. A lot of transfers for Bradford this season, as well as Cocoa, as we've seen the emergence of the high school transfer portal of sorts here. And a lot of new faces and some similar faces and familiar faces in new places here taking their first snaps tonight. And you know, a lot of times you can see this kickoff classic, teams will use it as a game to kind of get their team tuned up, not the hardest game on their schedule. Now, Bradford may not be the hardest game on Cocoa's schedule, but it's one of them, and it's not going to go on the record. As you see the Tigers emerge from the locker room as we get set to go here for the kickoff classic between Cocoa and Bradford. As I mentioned, last time these teams played each other was the 2023 2S State Championship, in which Cocoa won their second state title in a row, 20-6 over Bradford. All-time meeting for these two teams. Cocoa 3-0 all-time in the regular season with wins in 2018, 2021, and 2022. Or sorry, 2022 and 2023 rather over Bradford. And again, this one not on record, but these teams, there's a lot more than just bragging rights on the line. A lot of pride here, and I know for Bradford, this has been a game that they've wanted to settle for a long time. Well, for 2 years now, since 2023, since that last state championship. And for Cocoa, feeling like they have a lot to prove to the rest of the state of Florida. And as they start their quest for their first four-peat in their program's history, coming off 3 consecutive state titles. The captains tonight for Cocoa is number 1, C.J. Hester. That's a Florida commit. Number 8, Duran Guilford. As well as number 34, Chris Robinson, and number 50, Redman Thompson. Let's try and get the numbers across the field for the Bradford Tornadoes. See number 1, Jaquez Kaysen, number 7, Justin Hall, and it looks like number 50 as well. That is Ridge Bradley getting set to head to midfield to meet with the officials for the coin toss. As the rest of both teams anxiously await taking the field here. A lot of question marks. A lot of turnover for Cocoa as well as Bradford, and this is the time to get everything you've put forth in practice through the summer and the fall into effect. And again, although it won't go on the record, there's much more than just preseason to be handled here. This is not just a scrimmage. This means a lot to both of these programs to set the tone for the 2025 season. And as I mentioned, these are teams that could see each other again in late November or in December, so there's a lot to be decided here. As you see the captains meeting at midfield as well. Welcome back here live from Cocoa High School as the captains shake hands, take their respective sides of the field here as we get set to go in this one. As football season is back here in Brevard County, had two Sunshine State Athletic Week 1 games last night in the county. Both were running clock shutout wins as Space Coast picked up a 59-0 victory, as well did Satellite in their first year in the Sunshine State Athletic Association as they defeated Oak Ridge 38-0. So both those teams are officially 1-0, as Space Coast also defending a state championship here in 2025. And both those teams starting out on a high note. Satellite coming off a 1-win 2024 year. They've already matched that total in 1 week here in 2025, and they started out strong last night. So a great showing from the Sunshine State teams in week 1. And now the rest of Brevard here in their kickoff classics getting set to go. And the biggest thing here is overreactions, underreactions. The biggest thing is not overreacting as much to Kickoff Classic, but as well you do have to find takeaways from these games. You can't brush it off as something that doesn't matter just because it doesn't go on record, because these games tell you a lot about what the fall is to become for these teams. And again, week 1 is only a week away. It's not like this is the spring game where you have 4 months till week 1. It is a week out for Cocoa. That's going to be Merritt Island. And for Bradford, that's going to be against Baker County next week. But before they get there, it's time for the Kickoff Classic here between the Cocoa Tigers and the Bradford Tornadoes. It looks like Cocoa will be kicking off to start tonight's contest. It'll be a new kicker as well for Cocoa this year, one of the many points of turnover on this roster, as that looks to be number 77. That is Keelan Gonzalez, the Cocoa Beach transfer, coming over from the beach into mainland Cocoa for his, I believe, senior season. Replacing the Trouts that were before him here at Cocoa. As Gonzalez gets set to kick off and get Cocoa's 100th season of football underway, and the 2025 season is underway. Toe to leather here. Ball will be brought in just inside the 10-yard line as Bradford going to take it out. Solid return setting up for Chase Phillips around the outside. Down the sideline will be pushed out of bounds finally just near midfield, and a great way to start the season there for Bradford, and a nice kickoff return there by number 4. They have 2 number 4s on their roster. That's either Chase Phillips or Alden Sanchez there on the return for Bradford. Is going to set them up with very nice field position. And again, as I mentioned in the pregame, it's going to be a sophomore quarterback taking over in his first season at the helm here in Bradford. They are returning some nice talent at the running back position and the wide receiver position, so not as much unfamiliarity around the sophomore quarterback as he takes shape here as they'll take over at their own 45. First down and 10 Tornadoes. Cocoa with a lot more turnover defensively than offensively, especially in that secondary anchored by O'Keefe Battle, Duran Guilford, and C.J. Hester as well in that linebacker core by Tyon Jacobs up front. Got guys like Redman Thompson leading the way. A lot of returning faces on the dark side defense. First down and 10 for Bradford. They're going to start with a handoff, cutting back up the middle. A nice burst of speed and 4 yards there on first down by Ian Addison. Addison coming off a 1,000-yard rushing season a year ago for Bradford. He's going to be a big key of this offense this season. A gain of 4 yards, second down and 6 for the Tornadoes. Going to get a handoff again to Addison, but Coco's all over it this time, and he's going to lose all the yards that he just gained on first down. Going to push him right back to the 45-yard line for third down already here on the opening drive for Bradford. Again, led by sophomore quarterback Kai Cubbage. There's been 2 handoffs to start the game for Bradford, now put in a position where they may need to put the ball in the air. It's third down and 9. Cubbage in the shotgun, trips right side, hard count, has some motion up front. That's on the Cocoa side. And a great hard count there by the sophomore quarterback will move him ahead 5 yards again. And that'll set him up now for third down and 4. Great hard count there, and that's something, those are those jitters that you can blame on preseason if you're Cocoa defensively, but that's something you do not want to see the rest of this game, let alone next week at Merritt Island. As they get drawn off sides that time, makes it third down and 4 for Bradford. They're going to go for the bubble screen here underneath to Jordan Kaysen. Kaysen trying to cut it inside, but Coco's all over it as he barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. And across midfield, it's now 4th down and 4 for Bradford, and it's already decision-making time. And it looks like the decision's already been made. It looks like the punt unit coming out now for Bradford and set up in no man's land in between the 40s. The Tornadoes actually in Cocoa territory. One deep to return for Cocoa, as it's Kai Cubbage staying on the field as the punter here, the sophomore quarterback. Got to watch the fakes with Cubbage as the punter, as he's going to angle it to the far side of the field, try and pin Cocoa in the coffin corners. That one will be downed around the 10-yard line. As Cocoa will take over for 1st down and 10, and as I mentioned, a new look Cocoa offense. No more Brady Hart, Javen Boggs, Nicky Teeter up front. You got to learn the name Champ Smith, the 3-star quarterback and the transfer from Spanish River, has D1 P4 offers, so not a slouch by any stretch of the imagination, as Cocoa has been known the last few years to just produce quarterback talent from the likes of Davin Widener to Blake Boda to Brady Hart. Now the next name wearing number 13 in black and orange is Champ Smith. He's going to be joined in the backfield by Jay Scott. Had some reps last year at the varsity level for Cocoa, led the JV team in rushing as well. So Scott's been with this Cocoa program, but now taking over the helm as Smith will drop back to pass, and he goes out wide underneath to start the game, and right across the 20-yard line goes their new tight end, Troy Silberzon, converted quarterback this season. And I was talking down on the field pregame with some of the Cocoa faithful, and Cocoa hasn't really run a true tight end in quite a while out of this offense. You know, focus on the out wide passing, but Silberzon was set to be the starting quarterback. Champ Smith transfers in, and he says instead of being a backup quarterback, he switches to tight end and gets the first look of the season for 11 yards and a Cocoa 1st down up to their own 21-yard line. That 1st down brought to you by Tails at the Barkery, as Smith will drop back again, throw right back to Silberzon over the middle. Back-to-back targets for Troy Silberzon, moves him up 8 more yards for 2nd down and short. And that's a connection you want to get to know this season, is going to be Smith to Silberzon, as they've liked each other throughout camp. They've liked each other throughout practice. And now time to put it on display. And the first 2 targets of Champ Smith's Tiger career have been to Troy Silberzon. 2nd down and 2 now for the Cocoa Tigers. Loading the box for Bradford now as Cocoa go the bubble screen. That 3rd straight completion to Troy Silberzon for another Cocoa 1st down. Just shy of the 35-yard line. 3 plays, 3 passes, 3 completions to Troy Silberzon. First down and 10. Cocoa up to their own 34. Brought to you by Tales of the Barkery once again. Champ Smith very good at the RPOs. We've seen a few of those so far early, opting for the pass every time. Short passes so far, as it's still Jay Scott to the right of Champ Smith. As pre-snap whistles flags on the Cocoa side of the line of scrimmage. That's going to push them back 5 yards. It's going to make it 1st and 15. And again, those are the things you want to get out of your system here in the preseason. Things Coach Schneider does not want to see. Cocoa's 2nd pre-snap penalty of the game already here. 8:37 to go in the 1st quarter. Now 1st down and 15 for the Cocoa Tigers from their own 29-yard line. 2 receivers split either side here for Smith in the shotgun. Linebackers float. Smith throwing over the middle, and good coverage there, but you're going to get flags in late. And a little bit more than good coverage there by Caden Karn is what the back judge is going to say here, and we'll await the call there. Look like intended receiver for Cocoa, Zay Hawkins, another new name out wide, and another player from the Tigers JV team last year. And that one's going to go down as pass interference. That's 15 yards, and it's going to make it 1st down Tigers. And Karn there draped on the back of the receiver, trying to go for that ball. It looked like he may have impeded the receiver's target and route to the football, and that's what the back judge saw and threw the flag for. Now 1st and 10, Cocoa to their own 44-yard line. Split backs this time, and they're going to go for the bubble there out of the backfield. Ball is free on the ground. It looks like Bradford has it, and they do, and that's going to be a turnover, as that ball fumbled by the Melbourne transfer, Cannon McCarthy, And a great job to turn the tide by the Tornadoes defense as they pick up the first turnover of the game here with 8:13 to go in the first quarter. McCarthy off the peak zone bubble type play there out of the backfield, and right after he crossed the line of scrimmage, he got hammered there by a player in the secondary for the Tornadoes. That ball pops out, and Bradford was all over it. First down, Tornadoes will take over from Tiger territory at the Cocoa 48-yard line. First down and 10 for the Tornadoes again. It's going to be a handoff around the left side, finding little room to run, nowhere to go again. And that is Keyshawn Kennedy with his first carry of the game. But again, this year the defense is going to have to lead the way for the Tigers as well, where it comes from experience here at Cocoa, returning a lot more starters defensively than offensively, and they're earning that name, dark side defense, early, already forced a 3 and out. And now that's going to be a loss of 1 on first down. It's second down and 11. Bradford traveling well, making the long drive down from Stark, Florida. They always bring a good crowd. Notorious for their game day atmosphere for home games as well. Second down and 11 for the Tornadoes. Smith drops back to pass, rolls out to his left. Flags come in here. And Cubbage gets hit there just across the line of scrimmage, but flags in the line of scrimmage puts you on holding watch if you're Bradford as we await the call from the White Hat. Good job by Cubbage there, making a play out of nothing there, but the reason he had space to move is going to be from that holding there, and that's going to back him up for a second down and 21. Those kind of penalties, what can really derail a drive early on. Bradford got the opportunity off a turnover to start in Cocoa territory. You really want to put points on the board here if you can. The last drive ended in Cocoa territory, so they've been there twice now. Early opportunities for Bradford. Now a holding penalty turns it into second and 21 back at their own 41-yard line. Cubbage lines up again. Cocoa bringing their safeties down here. Now they'll drop one high safety. Cubbage will let it fly down the sideline. Over the top, his man had a step, but it falls incomplete as he got ahead of both the corner and the high safety. And that's going to bring up third and 21. Intended receiver for Bradford was Camonte Nixon. In coverage there for Cocoa was Darius Phillips as well as Duran Guilford. And Nixon got over top of both the secondary players for Cocoa, but the ball overthrown by a step. Third down and 21 now for Bradford. We'll see if they try and move it to the sticks or just put the ball on the ground. 6:46 to go in the first quarter. Both these teams play in 2A. Third down and 21. Cubbage steps up in the pocket. He's going to take off. Got good room to run to the left side, but he'll just take it out of bounds across the original line of scrimmage. A gain of about 12, but still about 9 yards shy of where they needed to move the chains. As that'll make it fourth down again here for Bradford. And once again, you're going to see a change of personnel and looking like it's going to be another punt for Bradford. This will be their second straight punt in Cocoa territory. We talked about it being a preseason game. This is where you may see coaches get a little bit more aggressive with play calling, especially on fourth downs, but looks like we're going to see back-to-back punts to start this game for Bradford off the turnover that the defense was able to get off of Cocoa. Duran Guilford back deep to return. Cubbage on the drop kick over to the left side. Takes a nice Bradford bounce out of bounds around the 4-yard line. And that's going to pin Cocoa inside the 5 to take over for their second drive of the ball game here. And while we have a break in the action, I'd like to thank our first sponsor of tonight's game, Tales at the Barkery. Tales at the Barkery opened in 2016 in historic Cocoa Village. For more than now 8 years, Tales has been a favorite destination for pets and pet parents, and they invite you and your four-legged friends to visit. Tales of the Barkery has a variety of fresh treats made on site. Soft treats and hypoallergenic treats are also available. And they take custom orders and have unique cat and dog wear. For more information, you can visit online at www.talesofthebarkery.com. And you can call them as well at 321-305-4584. But what they really like is when you visit, and they're easy to find in historic Cocoa Village at 14 Oleander Street. Cocoa Village, a great place to take your pets on a walk and walk your way in to Tales of the Barkery if you can make it down there. For the best in the business for all your pet needs. you've watched Cocoa football over the years here on the Brevard Sports Network, you know the name Tales of the Barkery, been a proud sponsor of the Cocoa Tigers. Other sponsors tonight are Gamers R Us and Dean Stewart Photography. We'll tell you more about them throughout tonight's action. As Cocoa takes back over 1st and 10 at their own 4. Their last drive was moving down the field very well until they reached about the 50-yard line when Bradford forced a fumble out of Cannon McCarthy, the new running back for Cocoa, on his first touch, which led to a turnover. 1st down and 10 Cocoa. We'll see the first handoff to Javion Scott, and Scott is swallowed up for no gain at the line of scrimmage again. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Tigers. That's another point of note. Cocoa only returning 2 offensive linemen from a very solid unit last year that saw guys head off to FAU, UCF, and other schools from that O-line. And they have some veterans returning, but a lot of new faces as well on that offensive line. As Scott gets a yard on first, makes it 2nd down and 9 for the Cocoa Tigers. Pre-snap whistles here from the White Hat. Clock stands still with 5:55 to play in the first quarter, and Bradford's going to take their first timeout of the first quarter here ahead of the 2nd down play for Cocoa. That leaves Bradford with 2 timeouts to go here in the first half. Looked like some personnel issue there with substitutions defensively, and assuming that's where the timeout comes from there for Bradford. Cocoa still led by head coach Ryan Schneider, as well as offensive coordinator Adam Franco. The first difference in that staff comes to the defensive coordinator spot. No longer Coach Matt Diesel, as he is now the head coach of the Titusville Terriers, taking over in his spot new defensive coordinator DeMarcus Manyfield. And that Cocoa defense now under Coach Manyfield doing well so far, forcing 2 punts early on 2 3-and-outs for Bradford, the second of which started in Cocoa territory. The offense looks solid as well until the turnover. Got to keep an eye on Troy Silbers if you're the Bradford defense. He got all but 1 target on that opening drive. 2nd down and 9 now for the Cocoa Tigers at their own 5. Smith drops back into his own end zone, lets it fly over the middle. Wide open receiver down the middle of the field into the deep secondary in a foot race down the sideline. Still on his feet inside the Bradford 30. And a big catch and run for the returning receiver. That's Tank White. Big first down Cocoa down inside the Bradford 30. Finally dragged down by Jaquez Kaysen. What a way to do it there by Tank White, right over the middle on the skinny post. Beats everyone but the last safety. Peyton Jones slowed him down. He was finally brought down, but not after picking up a huge chunk of yardage for Cocoa. And mind you, that play started with Champ Smith in his own end zone, and it ends up at the Bradford 25-yard line. Quick throw underneath is caught down the sideline in the classic Cocoa bubble screen there to Zay Hawkins for a solid gain on 1st down. 2nd down coming up now for Cocoa, and they got a new quarterback coming in, but they're not shying away from their typical pass-first air raid offense we've seen under Coach Franco and Schneider. Now 2nd down and 4. Cocoa inside the tails at the Barkery red zone. 2nd down and 5 for the Tigers. Split back set here for Champ Smith. McCarthy to his right and Scott to his left. And it's going to be a give to Cannon McCarthy. McCarthy up the middle this time. Picks up 3 more yards just shy of the line to gain. It's just going to be 3rd and short for the Tigers. And I love that Cocoa continues to have that confidence in Cannon. Last drive had the fumble, but they put him right back out there, give him a carry in the red zone. And he comes through with some solid yardage to set up 3rd down and 2 for the Tigers. And the hard count has some movement on the defense, it looks like. Great hard count from Champ Smith is going to give Cocoa a 1st down before they even have to snap the ball on 3rd down. As Cocoa marches deeper into the red zone for 1st down and 10. Now standing at the Bradford 13-yard line. Tigers within striking distance for the first time tonight. Here with 5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. First down and 10, Cocoa. Hawkins in motion. They'll go with the jet sweep give. Hawkins cuts up the middle. Good blocks help Hawkins break inside the 10-yard line. Brings up 2nd down and short now for Cocoa. Last name Hawkins has been tied to some Cocoa greats, the likes of Cedric Hawkins, some Andre Hawkins, now another one with Zay Hawkins here at Cocoa High School. Second down and about 6 for Cocoa at the Bradford 9-yard line. First down line to gain is the 3. Not goal to go for the Tigers. This one a handoff up the middle. Cannon McCarthy lowers his shoulder down inside the 5. And McCarthy, the bulkier back in that backfield. If you have the Thunder and Lightning, I would say McCarthy's your Thunder, Scott's the Lightning, and they go with McCarthy there, gets him down. We have a Bradford player down on the play. As they'll attend to that young man here. Both teams will head back to the sideline. It looks like where the ball is marked, it's just going to be 3rd down and 1 for Cocoa down here inside the Bradford 5-yard line. I think here it's a preseason game. Even if you don't get any yards, if you get stuffed on 3rd and 1, I think if you're the Tigers, you got to go for it here. Got nothing to lose. And this is the time to get a little bit aggressive if you're the Tigers. I mean, even in the regular season, I'd encourage them to go for it, but that's just me. As the injured Tornado will head back to the sideline. Looks like it's number 25 for Bradford. That is Parvale Lee. It's going to be 3rd down and 1 now for Cocoa at the Bradford 4-yard line here on their second drive of the ball game. 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Silberzon jumps under center there from the tight end spot. Trying to fool him with the sneak. Did he get the yard they needed? Bradford wasn't fooled there. Again, Silberzon, the former quarterback himself, pulled around the line and tried to sneak it there, and it looks like they got the first down. Love the play call there for the Tigers. The creativity comes out, and Troy Silberzon sneaks it up the middle for a Cocoa 1st and goal. Silberzon shifting from tight end straight under center. Creative play call gets him the first down. Silberzon, a little bit more size than Champ Smith. Saw that done last year as well with Silberzon coming in for Brady Hart. So that play has been around as they're going to go with the jet sweep here around the edge. Turning the corner, cutting inside. But gets uprooted at the 1-yard line there on the sweep by Jamal Smith. 2nd and goal. Cocoa now down to the Bradford 1-yard line. Great tackle by Bradford there to keep him from stumbling into the end zone, kind of uprooting him, forcing him backwards there, makes it 2nd and goal. Split backs here for Champ Smith. 2nd and goal, Tigers. Handoff up the middle. Flags are down. McCarthy fighting his way into the end zone. We got to check on the flags first here as McCarthy fights his way across the plane. Flags down. What will it be? If it's on the defense, it'll be a touchdown. If it's on Cocoa, then it'll stay 0-0 for the time being. And the officials are all going to come together and talk about this before we see the call. It came in right as the ball was snapped. You think if it was a false start, they would have blown it dead. So we'll see. And it is going to be a procedural penalty on Cocoa. And that's going to negate the touchdown from Cannon McCarthy and bring up 2nd and goal now for the Tigers. Tough break there for Cocoa as that one was, flag came in early. It could have been a false start or a legal procedure or something of that nature. But either way, the score stays off the board. Now 2nd and goal, Cocoa from the 6. In the shotgun again is Champ Smith. Motion Scott out of the backfield now with the empty set. Smith under pressure, throws over the middle. Slant is incomplete. Great coverage there by Jaquez Kaysen. Brings up 3rd and goal now, Cocoa from the 6. Looking for Jamal Smith over the middle that time. Can't connect on the slant as there's a big blitz off the edge there. Got right in the face of Champ Smith. Forced him to throw that ball or take the punishment. Ended up doing both, but brings up 3rd and goal now, Cocoa from the 6. And after you already scored the touchdown, got it taken off the board by a penalty, a procedural one at that. You really want to punch it in here and make the most of this drive. Smith drops, pocket collapsing, throwing back of the end zone. It is dropped. Incomplete. And that was intended for Tank White, who was wide open there in the back of the end zone. Just drops the ball there off the fingertips. Great throw off the back foot by Smith, but it's not hauled in. But we do have flags down, and that's in the area of the passer. And the way he's asking the Bradford sideline, this looks like it may be going on Coco. And it's going to be a hold on Coco, trying to keep that pocket clean. That'll be declined. Now 4th and goal, Coco from the 6. And they're going to send out the kicking unit here for the short field goal with 2:27 to go in the first quarter. As the touchdown by Cannon McCarthy wiped off the board from the false start 2 plays ago. And now it's a field goal unit coming out, led by the new kicker, Keelan Gonzalez. Coco's also produced a good group of kickers the last 4 years. The next of which is Keelan Gonzalez now lining up for the 23-yard field goal. Coming off the edge, kick is up, and it is good. And the first points of the season for Coco scored by the leg of Keelan Gonzalez here with 2:22 to go in the first quarter. As it's 3-0, Coco taking the lead there after a long drive down the field. The biggest play, a 60-plus yard catch and run by, I believe it was Tank White, but when they got down to the red zone, good defense by Bradford and a few miscues by Coco did keep them out of the end zone when it all mattered. But the field goal up and good puts the Tigers ahead 3-0. Tigers bounce back well after the fumble on their opening drive that cut that drive short around midfield. Now they get 3 points on the board before Bradford has a first down yet. So we'll see if the Tigers defense can stay sharp in this one and keep setting up their offense with big opportunities. But again, remember the opening kickoff by Bradford brought back all the way to midfield. So Tigers kick team going to have to be a little bit stronger here. Keep an eye on that Bradford return. It's number 4 back deep. That's Alden Sanchez. Gonzalez gets that kick away end over end. This one gets all the way down to the 2-yard line. Will be returned again by the Tornadoes. Has some room to run up the middle of the field. Still going around the left side. Finally uprooted with flags down at the scene of the tackle there at the 35-yard line. This is a 30-yard return for Bradford, but the return man still down on the play and in visible pain there through the hit. They're going to have an injury timeout there on the electric returner there for Bradford. Not what you want to see if you're on the Tornadoes sideline. But another return that had a chance to go big there for Bradford. But there is going to be a penalty on the Tornadoes that's going to bring them back a little ways from that return. It's going to be a 10-yard penalty, whatever it was. And that's going to make it 1st and 10 Bradford from their own 25-yard line. As we have an injury timeout on the field, we're going to take a break up here in the booth as well. We'll be back along with the players when they take the field again after the injury timeout. Welcome back live here from Richard Dick Blake Stadium. After the injured player, number 4 for Bradford, helped off the field as the offense takes back over now. After the return and the penalty, it's now going to be 1st and 10 Bradford from their own 25-yard line. I think this is a drive they just need to establish the offense. Haven't gotten a first down yet. That snap a little outside, brought in as they'll run it right up the middle. And a great carry to start the drive there by Ian Addison. Again, Addison, a returning 1,000-yard rusher for the Tornadoes. That's someone I assume they're going to use quite a bit this season alongside the sophomore quarterback. 2nd and short. We got flags coming in. Looks like it's on the defense. And that would give Bradford their first down of the game. And that is on Coco defensively. That's going to make it first down Bradford as they move the chains for the first time in this one up to their own 38-yard line. First down brought to you by Gamers R Us. As again, we'll see a handoff right up the middle to Addison. Addison continues to churn his feet up to the 45-yard line. A gain of 7 on first down. And this drive marching right down the field early here for Bradford. That's going to make it second down and 3. Second down and 3 for Bradford. They'll go right back to the handoff up the middle this time. Coco's got it, but the back will fall forward for a yard or 2, gets him closer for 3rd and short. Up front for Coco, that's Redman Thompson making the stop defensively. Brother of former Coco Tiger Sandman Thompson, now up at FSU. 3rd down and 1 for Bradford. They tried the hard count, didn't get Coco to jump this time. Now it's a man in motion as Jordan Kaysen. Handoff right up the middle. Again, right at the line to gain. He's going to be shoved backwards, and this one going to be a close spot. And the near side official saying first down as they just get the yards they needed on 3rd and 1 to bring up another Bradford first down as they're marching down the field again, looking to make it 3 consecutive drives where they cross midfield. Under a minute to go in the opening quarter. Coco leading 3-0. Kai Cubbage in the backfield with Ian Addison. Under 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. 1st and 10 Bradford at their own 49. Cubbage drops back to pass, throws over the middle right to a Coco defender. That one's intercepted with room to run down the sideline. Cutting back down the middle, back to the outside, on the run down the sideline. Into the red zone goes Darius Phillips with a big interception in return for the Coco Tigers. As a mistake there by Cubbage as he sails that one right into the arms of the waiting Coco cornerback is Phillips. With a big return, Coco will take over inside the tails of the Barkery red zone. And what a changing of tide there. Bradford having their best drive of the game so far, and before they can even get to midfield, they drop back to pass for the first time, and that one goes straight to the Coco defender. And with 12 seconds to go in the opening quarter, it's 1st and 10 Coco at the Bradford 17-yard line. The offense last time couldn't score from inside the red zone, couldn't score a touchdown, got the field goal, but the defense lines them up to give them another shot at it as they'll take over 1st down and 10. Big interception return as well of about 42 yards for Phillips. Champ Smith back in the shotgun, 1st down and 10 as he drops, has time to throw. He'll step up in the pocket, get to the outside here, and get shoved back out of bounds as he was pursued by Justin Hall and Cohen Shofi. 4 seconds to go when Smith ran out of bounds there, stops the clock. No yardage gain as it'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Coco Tigers. Good job escaping the pocket, but wasn't able to get any yardage. Good job by Bradford to secure the edge defensively. 2nd down and 9 over the middle. Smith has a wide open receiver. That is Tank White, who's going to have 1st down and goal coming up for Coco. And we come back in the second quarter as that will be the end of the first quarter, as the Tigers have jumped in front 3-0, and they're right back into the red zone thanks to the Darius Phillips interception and return. And off the catch right there on 2nd down by Tank White. They will have 1st and goal in the second quarter. We're going to take a break again along with the players. We'll see you right back here for the second quarter on the Brevard Sports Network. So welcome you back live here at the Brevard Sports Network. Ahead of second quarter action here of the Kickoff Classic between Cocoa and Bradford, a 2023 state title rematch in the preseason. So far, the Tigers got the first points of the game on a field goal, and then defensively, Darius Phillips comes up with the interception and return that now has them set up first down and goal at the Bradford 6-yard line. Last drive, they got down to the 1 before they were stood up for a field goal. Now they'll get another shot at it. First and goal at the 6-yard line. Champ Smith turns, hands to Javion Scott. Blitz hard in the backfield, and he'll be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage as Bradford brought the house, and getting the tackle made was Justin Hall again for the Tornadoes, the senior. That's going to be a loss of a yard for Cocoa. It's going to bring up second down and goal from the 7-yard line now. Second down and goal, Cocoa at the 7-yard line. Champ Smith in the shotgun with Jay Scott once again. Smith will drop back now on second and goal. Pocket collapsing, throwing end zone into tight coverage. That one incomplete, intended for Troy Silberzon in the end zone. And again, Cocoa now seeing third down and goal at the 7-yard line. Bradford looking for another goal line stand on the Tigers to keep this at a one-possession game. Third down and goal, Cocoa at the 7-yard line. Smith in the shotgun, Bradford pressing defensively. Smith throwing over the middle, just out ahead of his receiver who had a shot at it. Just off his fingertips, incomplete, intended for Jamal Smith. And for the second consecutive drive, Cocoa flies down inside, goal to go, but once again, they just can't do it inside the 10-yard line as they're gonna send out the field goal unit now. Last drive was a 23-yarder for Keelan Gonzalez. This time a 24-yard field goal for Gonzalez from about the same spot as last drive as it stalls. Good job by Bradford showing up defensively in the clutch situations after their offense put him in the tough situation with the interception. Now Gonzalez from 24 yards out. That kick is up and good. And with that 24-yard field goal with 11:06 to go in the first quarter, the Tigers jump ahead by 6 points off of the interception by Phillips. But again, a nice goal line stop by Bradford keeps this one well within reach. And if they can run the ball like they did last drive, we could see Bradford march down the field. Just can't have a mistake like the pass that flew errantly and caused the interception. As now we're going to have another kickoff here from Keelan Gonzalez after the field goal. Split the uprights good. Score update now 6-0 Cocoa Tigers. Here with 11:06 to go in the second quarter. And a lot of the talk in the offseason for Cocoa has been that defense and how a lot of the returning talent from last year's state championship team was going to be strong. That defense was going to be a force, and so far that's been the case. They forced 2 3-and-outs and an interception on the last drive. The offense looking solid as well with a lot of new names, but just so far struggling to find its way into the end zone down inside the 10. Both teams with a turnover already here in the first half. Most recent of which led to the most recent Cocoa field goal as Gonzalez will kick it off again. This time he'll go short with it, lets it bounce on the ground, scooped up on the run, and a big hit there. Up the middle there. Christian Walker makes the hit on the unsuspecting return man. That was Demarion Dodd who scooped it up off the bounce, but was only able to take a step or two before he was sent straight to the turf. Bradford will take over now for their 4th drive of the game. First 3 drives, punt, interception. So not the best start to the season offensively for the Tornadoes as it's going to be first down and 10. Bradford at their own 30. What has been solid is their starting field position on those 4 drives. They've started at their own 42, Cocoa's 48, their own 30, and their own 25-yard line as Cubbage will hand off again up the middle, bouncing off his own offensive lineman with room to run to the outside. Trying to cut it back inside is the back, Keyshawn Kennedy. And that decision to cut it back inside may cost him a chance of getting the first down that time, but it's still a solid gain. On first, will make it second down. Tornadoes leading the pursuit was the new Cocoa number 9 defender to get to know Jermaine Waters. Last man to wear that jersey was Javion Hilson. 2nd down and 3 for Bradford at their own 37. Play fake. Cubbage flushed out of the pocket. He's just going to throw that one away. Coach Schneider is livid about something that happened in the middle of the field, and he's letting the officials hear it. If you know anything about Coach Schneider, if he disagrees with anything on the field, he'll let everyone know it with a striped shirt or not. He does it there again. Either way, the incomplete pass to the outside will bring up 3rd and 3. Good job by Cubbage. That's just good football IQ there, getting out of the pocket, getting that ball out of bounds. Getting away from the danger. 3rd and 3. Handoff right up the middle. Met just before the line to gain. Great job by that Cocoa front to make the stop. And leading the charge that time for the Tigers was Tremaine Wells. T-Baby making the play there. Makes it 4th and 1 for Bradford. After punting twice early on in 4th and shorts, this time it looks like the offense will stay on the field. 4th down and 1, Bradford at their own 39. Cocoa got to watch the hard count. Tigers stack the box. We'll see if they even have a play called here, if they just want the hard count. And it looks like they were just trying to get Cocoa offsides, which is unsuccessful. So we're going to get the 2nd timeout of the first half here from Bradford with 9:39 to go. As Coach Schneider gets to talk with the white hat about the last play as both teams head to their sidelines here. I'd like to thank our next sponsor tonight, Gamers R Us. Gamers R Us is back on the Brevard Sports Network supporting the Cocoa Tigers. And if you have a gamer in your life or you are a gamer yourself, you're in luck because Gamers R Us is a growing gaming community focused on card, board, tabletop, and video games. They host casual and competitive tournaments for Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dragon Ball Super, and more. Gamers R Us is the one-stop place for all your gaming needs. For more information, call Seth at 321-735-7057 and be sure to check them out on Facebook at Gamers R Us for the next big and all deals happening at the store, which is located in Cocoa at 801 Dixon Boulevard. 4th and 1, offense stays on the field for Bradford. Handoff up the middle, and it looks like they have the yards needed. And a great job to reach across that 40-yard line for the first down by the running back, Jaquez Kaysen. And on 4th and 1, it's going to be 1st and 10 now for the Bradford Tornadoes as they take the timeout, but still go for it on 4th down, get the play call they wanted. And they trust Kaysen there to just fall across the line to gain. Cocoa did a good job stuffing him at the line, but the forward momentum by Kaysen took him across the line to gain a 1st down and 10. Bradford from their own 40. Cubbage in the shotgun, throws a quick screen underneath. That one is bobbled and dropped. Not a backwards pass, so it's going to be incomplete once it hits the ground. But that one dangerously reflects off the chest of Peyton Jones, the freshman. That brings up 2nd down and 10. Bradford at their own 40. Again, luckily that's not a backwards pass, so it's just incomplete. You go right back to the 40. Those are the plays you really want to generate yards on 1st downs if you're Bradford on those quick screens, but when it falls incomplete, sets up 2nd down and 10. Cubbage in the shotgun again, drops back to pass, rolls out of the pocket, lets it fly again into danger, and that one ends up having to be batted away by his receiver, Jordan Kaysen, to keep it out of a 2nd interception. Again in coverage, Darius Phillips nearly coming up, or actually that was Duran Guilford and O'Keefe Battle back there in coverage. And again, I think if Jordan Kaysen didn't play a little bit of defense himself, that would have been another interception. 3rd down and 10 for Bradford at their own 40-yard line. 9 minutes to go in the first quarter. Quick drop, they'll throw the screen underneath. Now in the open field, it's only going to be a yard gain by Jordan Kaysen. Great open field tackle there by Raymond McCoy for Cocoa. Brings up 4th down and 8 for Bradford. And this time they'll bring on the punt unit for the 3rd time tonight. Good defense again by the Cocoa Tigers. Back deep to return the punt again for Cocoa. Hasn't got a chance to return one yet. That's the troll, Duran Guilford. Guilford, the Warner commit. 4th down and 9. Bradford boots it away. Ball end over end. Guilford getting in the area of that one, but will take it off the bounds. Guilford will return it. Bounces inside, still on his feet, but a nice tackle made in open field that time by Bradford's Justin Hall. Bring down Duran Guilford. And they'll make it 1st down and 10 Cocoa. Last 2 drives have gotten down inside the 10-yard line of the Bradford Tornadoes, but both of them just ending in field goals. The goal of this drive for Cocoa has got to be to get into that end zone for the first time this season. Bradford defensively looking to force a punt or a turnover. The only drive Cocoa didn't score so far of their 3 was a fumble on their opening drive that cut it short at midfield. 1st down and 10 Cocoa now at their own 33-yard line. 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. Champ Smith drops back to pass again. Quick throw to the outside on the comeback route. Good defense there by Caden Karn, getting his hand in there and breaking it up from Tank White on the comeback route. Brings up 2nd and 10, and that one looked like one of those plays. He got a bunch of receivers running routes, but Smith really had one read, and that was Tank White. And the second that he cut back, that ball was released, and great job reading the route by the defender. Off the hard count there, gets the defense to jump again, and that's going to be 5 yards. 2nd and 5 now coming up for Cocoa, so although they get no yards on first, ahead of play number 2 of the drive, they'll get a 5-yard penalty off of the defense. Makes it 2nd down and 5 for the Tigers. This is the game you can run the hard count as much as you want. First game action for either of these teams. Smith pressured from behind, throwing that comeback route to the outside, and that one incomplete. Nearly intercepted there by Caden Card in coverage again. Couldn't get a foot down in bounds as he ran towards the sideline to go get that one. Now 3rd and 5, and now Smith got to settle down. Back-to-back throws on the same route, and both times Caden Card has been there ready to pounce on it. Again, the hard count. Nobody jumps, a little bit of motion, but that's all right for the defense. 3rd down and 5, Cocoa at their own 38-yard line. 8 minutes to go in the first half. 5 wide for Champ Smith. Smith drops, blitz coming hard off the left side. Smith steps up, had room to run, floats it up the field. It's caught to the outside across midfield for a 1st down. Again, it's his favorite target, Troy Silberzon. And it's going to be enough for a Cocoa 1st down. Great patience there by Champ Smith. Flushing himself out of the pocket. Could have ran for it, but he waited for the secondary to break down and find Silberzon wide open for the Cocoa 1st down. First down and 10. Man in motion coming across. They'll give the jet sweep this time to Cayman Varus. Varus is lit up for a loss. Swarmed by the Bradford defense, led by Jordan Kaysen and Danny Torres in the backfield all over Cayman Varus. Another Cocoa Beach transfer. That's a loss of 3 yards back to their own side of midfield. Actually 2nd and 14 from their own 48. And Varus' first touch as a Tiger doesn't go how he intended it to. Second and 14 for the Tigers. And it looks like they're going to have to burn a timeout here offensively as some play calling miscommunication. And that'll be Cocoa's first time out of the half here with 7:08 to go as Coach Schneider on the sideline calls for it. Tigers have been pretty solid on offense, but they lose 4 yards on 1st down. We'll see if they can dig out of the hole here on 2nd down and 14. The early connection to watch all year long here at Richard Dick Blake Stadium is going to be Champ Smith to Troy Silberzon. And as I mentioned pregame, Cocoa hasn't really run a tight end this much involved in the offense in quite a long time. They've been very spread out with the likes of Boggs, Teeter, Jamarie Robinson, many wide receivers coming through. C.J. Bragg over the last few years that have made their names here at Cocoa, but those are wide receivers, not tight ends. This year, Silberzon converting from quarterback to tight end, and that's the name I've heard the most out of Cocoa training camp all offseason. From everybody at Cocoa, outside of Cocoa, was the name Troy Silberzon. And he's been the leading receiver tonight right out of the gates. 2nd down and 14 now for Cocoa out of the timeout. Smith drops back to pass again. Pocket collapses off the left side. Smith pump fakes, but he's going to get dragged out of bounds. That's going to be a sack there for number 25, Parveli Lee. And again, that comes off the left side of the offensive line, which is struggling so far tonight. Over there looks to be Isaiah Irvin. Again, that left side is where all the pressure from Smith has come from so far. Now 3rd and 14 for the Cocoa Tigers. Got a long way to go here to keep this drive alive midway through the 2nd quarter. Smith, shoulder pad exposed, pump fakes. Again, coming through from the left side. Smith off his back foot, lets it fly into danger. That one's intercepted. And this one returnable for Bradford down the sideline. And a good return there on the interception by Jordan Kaysen. And Smith there off the back foot, just let that one sail. The only good news is it's on 3rd down and long, so it's essentially a punt for Cocoa, but that's already their 2nd turnover of the ball game. And that's going to bring up 1st down and 10 for Bradford. First interception of the game for the defense for the Tornadoes. That one by Jordan Kaysen. Not what Cocoa wants to see, but Smith is a new Cocoa quarterback, but he is a junior. He has experience in the spotlight. And that one just an ill-advised throw off his back foot. Just sailed that one downfield. 1st down and 10 now for Bradford. Will take over at their own 36. Still only down 6 with 6:44 to go in the 1st quarter. Cocoa got a lot of impact matchups on their schedule after this one. Biggest in-county matchup is going to be September 19th against the Eau Gallie Commodores. They also are taking a trip down to Miami to play Miami-Norland as well, as Vero Beach and many other out-of-county opponents, as Cubbage rolls to his left, throws on the screen. A nice run and a big hit there to Camonte Nixon. Got hit there by the FAU commit, Tyon Jacobs. Haven't called his name yet tonight. One of the biggest returning players for Cocoa this season. A gain of about 3 yards on the screen for Bradford makes it 2nd and 7. Tornadoes at their own 39-yard line. It's going to be a handoff here around the right side. Somehow finds space to run, reversing field. And a nice run, making something out of almost nothing for Ian Addison. Makes it 3rd and short. It looked like he was dead to rights in the backfield. Somehow not only found his way back to the line of scrimmage, but a little ways beyond it. As now it's going to be 3rd down and 3 for Bradford at their own 43-yard line. Cocoa looking for another stop here as Bradford now on their 5th drive of the 1st half. 3rd down and 3 for the Tornadoes. Cubbage in the shotgun, trying the hard count. Cocoa not making that mistake again. Third down and 3. They'll hand it off right up the middle again to Addison. Addison turns the feet, drives forward, and picks up a Bradford 1st down just shy of the 50-yard line. Another strong young run from Ian Addison. And that's going to bring us to a 2nd quarter water break. Here with 5:21 to go in the quarter. We're going to take a break here along with the players. We'll be back after the water break here in the 2nd quarter. Cocoa leading Bradford 6-0. Welcome you back live here at the Brevard Sports Network. 1st down and 10, Bradford from their own 48-yard line. Cubbage turns, hands off right up the middle again as Ian Addison, this time across midfield. Chunk yards is 4 on 1st down. That'll bring up 2nd and 6 for the Tornadoes. Addison has been a big playmaker early on for Bradford, and they've had the most success this year while keeping the ball on the ground. That's something they've done over the years and have been successful doing, is having a run-first offense. 2nd down and 6 for Bradford. Handoff up the middle again to Addison. Dives forward and is a yard or two short of first, as it's going to be 3rd and short now for the Tornadoes. This seems to be the formula for success now for Bradford. There's just chunk yardage runs right down the field if they don't have to put the ball in the air. If they do, it seems like it's going to be a quick screen. Handoff up the middle again. Addison is smothered. Ball may have come out. Looks like the ball did come out, but Addison falls right back on top of it. But he does not get the first down on 3rd and short. It's going to be 4th down, Bradford. 4th and 2 for Bradford at the Cocoa 44. They've punted in Cocoa territory twice already. Not going to make it a 3rd time here as the offense stays on the field again. 1 for 1 on 4th down conversions tonight. They'll try the hard count again. It's what they did last time. They tried the hard count, didn't get it, took the timeout, and then ran a play. But they only have 1 timeout to go in the half. So they're going to have to snap it here or burn the final timeout. Cubbage looking for the call from the sideline. 4th down and 2 for the Tornadoes. And we got whistles, and that's going to be the last timeout of the first half for the Bradford Tornadoes. Ahead of 4th and 2, the hard count doesn't draw a jump. Coco's done a good job of that. They bid on the first hard count, went off sides early in the game, but since then, Bradford's tried it 4 or 5 more times, but Cocoa hasn't moved. And now it's decision-making time again for Bradford here on 4th down and 2 across midfield at the Cocoa 44-yard line. Do they want to try and go for it or not? Again, I would say it's preseason. You're in no man's land. Might as well just try it. But we'll see. I mean, Cocoa should be expecting a run if they come back out to run a play here on 4th and short. And that's where you could run some sort of play action or RPO if you are Bradford and try and catch them off guard. We'll see after the timeout. It looks like Bradford's still going to go for it. They just needed the play call through the timeout. 4th down and 2, Tornadoes at the Cocoa 44. Bradford 1 for 1 on 4th down tries tonight. On 4th and 2, Cubbage drops back to pass, throwing to the outside. It's broken up, incomplete. Great defense there in coverage by C.J. Hester, the Florida commit. And the 4-star corner makes the play. Turnover on downs for Bradford. And the interception by Champ Smith won't cost the Tigers anything more than a change of possession, as it'll be 1st down Cocoa now at their own 44. And I'll be excited to see C.J. Hester in Gainesville next year. The 4-star cornerback commit. First down and 10 for Cocoa at their own 44-yard line. First down and 10. Champ Smith drops back, lets it fly again to the outside, floats that football, nearly intercepted again. And that one well out of the way of his intended receiver, Tank White, who had to correct in the air to find that ball. Brings up 2nd down and 10 for the Tigers. And so far, Champ Smith has looked good underneath, but those deep balls haven't been connecting on time with the receivers so far. Just seems like they're going a little too high in the air, not as much online. They're kind of losing sight as he sends it up in the air. 2nd down and 10. Smith drops, goes back underneath on the screen, underneath his intended receiver, and the completion to Zay Hawkins just around midfield brings up 3rd down and short for Cocoa. Cheerleaders in the stands now. The Tigers faithful getting loud here as it's 3rd down and 5 for Cocoa. Pre-snap whistles, and the Tigers are going to burn their 2nd timeout of the half here with 3 minutes to go. They have 1 left. Bradford left with no timeouts remaining. As it's 3rd down and 6 coming up for Cocoa at their own 49-yard line. Again, with 2 red zone trips here in the first half. No touchdowns yet for the Tigers. Trying to change that here before we head into the half. In a preseason game here, these two teams have exchanged words online. They're not rivals. Stark is nowhere near Cocoa, Florida, but these teams definitely treating this game with a lot more than bragging rights and pride on the line. Bradford's been wanting to get their shot back at Cocoa since 2023. Tigers looking to defend their crown once again and stay unbeaten against Bradford all time. Now this one won't technically go on the record books because it's preseason, but you know if you lose or win at the end of the day. 3rd down and 6 for Cocoa at their own 49-yard line. Third down and 6 for the Tigers. 5 wide for Champ Smith in the shotgun. Bradford closing the pocket. Nice throw to the outside. Toes pointed, and it's caught. First down, Cocoa. Out to the Cocoa Beach transfer, Cayman Varus. As an official took a spill over the middle. But to the outside was the receiver, Cayman Varus, for the Cocoa first down. That one brought to you by Gamers R Us. .257 to go in the first half. Cocoa now 1st and 10 from the Bradford 40. Scott in motion. They hand off underneath to Kenan McCarthy. McCarthy swallowed up after a gain of about 2 or 3 yards on first down that time. Again, it's the left side of that defensive line wreaking havoc for Bradford. As Cocoa tries to go that way, but McCarthy meets up with number 25, Parvelli Lee, for Bradford making the stop. Second down and 8 for Cocoa. Smith drops back to pass. This time a clean pocket. Right over the middle is caught. Down inside the 15, inside the 10, still on his feet. What a play to the outside, into the end zone. Touchdown, Cocoa. And what a way to do it for Tank White. Dropped one in the end zone earlier, but that one he puts on a show as he makes the catch at the 10, breaks 2 tackles on his way into the end zone for a 40-yard Cocoa Tiger touchdown. And the first of the season for the Tigers. To Tank White from the new quarterback, Champ Smith. On for the extra point again is Keelan Gonzalez, and the kick is up. It is good. And with 2:13 to go in the first half, Cocoa jumps in front 13-0 on the 38-yard touchdown pass and catch to Tank White. Again, a great throw by Smith. I mean, that started with the offensive line, giving him a clean pocket, no pressure from the left or right side that time. Let Smith put the ball downfield right on a dot for White, but Tank White breaking 2 tackles at the 10-yard line and stretching it around the end and into the end zone for the first Cocoa touchdown of 2025 here in the Kickoff Classic. Tank White, another name to know. Well-rated recruit for the Tigers. I believe he is committed to Syracuse, if I'm not mistaken. As Keelan Gonzalez will kick off once again for Cocoa with 2:13 to go in the first half. The Tigers take a 2-possession lead on the 38-yard touchdown pass from Champ Smith to Tank White. I could see Tank White competing with Troy Silberzon for the receiving yards title this season for Cocoa. You see the type of electric downfield threat that he is. Gonzalez goes for the short onside kick here, and a fair catch taken there by Justin Hall. Smart play there by Hall, takes it and hits the deck there. That one, I like the shot from Cocoa to go for the cheeky onside try there, but Bradford was ready for it, had a hands player under it, was Hall, and he gets the fair catch, avoids a hit, and sets Bradford up now with good field position once again, but that hasn't been the problem all night. It has not been starting field position. It's been marching the ball down the field. They've been in Cocoa territory 3 times tonight, 3 or 4 times, but they haven't been in the red zone yet, and they still only have 2 or 3 first downs overall with an interception as well, along with, I believe, 3 punts, an interception, and a turnover on downs, the 5 drives so far tonight for Bradford as they embark on drive number 6 of the first half. No timeouts, 2 minutes to play as you get a handoff right up the middle, and a solid carry that time by Keyshawn Kennedy. Brings up a gain of 3, 2nd down and 7. Second down and 7. Handoff again to Kennedy. Kennedy around the right side. Good blocking. Kennedy takes a big hit at the line to gain, but it looks like he's going to get enough to get Bradford a first down inside Cocoa territory again as Keyshawn Kennedy. And Cocoa will receive the ball to start the second half. So Bradford in some urgency here to score before it's all zeros on the clock. No timeouts left again. Handoff right up the middle. Again is Kennedy churning his feet, going down to the Cocoa 42-yard line. A gain of about 4 yards again. It's 2nd down and 6 for Bradford. Second and 6 for Bradford. About 1 minute to go here in the first half. Cubbage play fakes, bootlegs to his left, throwing on the run underneath, is caught out by the sideline, gets out of bounds, and stops the clock there on the reception by Jaquez Kaysen. Raymond McCoy was floating in the area for Cocoa, trying to undercut that ball, but just mistimed it and lets it get through to the open receiver. 55 seconds to go in the second quarter. 1st down and 10, Bradford at the Cocoa 30. Cubbage in the shotgun. The farthest Bradford has been down the field is right now. That one to the outside again. Gets out of bounds. Same exact play to Jaquez Kaysen. Works again. Just around the red zone. Another Bradford first down as they're marching right down the field. Inside the Gamers R Us red zone now, or just outside of it, knocking on the door at the Cocoa 21-yard line. 50 seconds to go in the first quarter. Cubbage shots back again, looking left side, pump fakes, going deep, and that one's overthrown, incomplete. Like the play design there, back-to-back curls. That one a stop and go, but good defense there by Cocoa, keeping that one away from Kaysen. Got a little bit handsy, but officials let it go. Brings up 3rd down and 1 for Bradford at the Cocoa 21-yard line. Clock stands still, 44 seconds to go in the half. Cubbage turns, gives right at the middle. Kennedy breaks free over the left side of the line, inside the 15-yard line. And for the first time tonight, Bradford inside the red zone. 1st down and 10, Tornadoes. And immediately following the Cocoa touchdown, Bradford trying to put up one of their own. 34 seconds to go. Again, Bradford out of timeouts here in the first half. 1st down and 10, Bradford at the Cocoa 12. Clock is moving. And he's going to spike it, but we got flags down. Clock stops with 25 seconds to go. Pre-snap false start. Not everybody was set and ready for the spike. That's going to make it 1st and 15 for Bradford. Backing them up to the 17-yard line. Now we're going to be 1st down and 15. Bradford at the Cocoa 17. Clock ticks down. 20 seconds to go in the half and counting. Cubbage throwing over the middle on the slant. Caught just shy of the end zone, diving for it. He's in. Touchdown, Bradford. With 10 seconds to go in the first half, the Tornadoes make it look easy, marching right down the field for their first score of the night. First touchdown pass there for Cubbage. As Kai Cubbage finds Camonte Nixon for the touchdown from 17 yards out. With 10 seconds to go in the half, the Tornadoes are on the board. And that's huge as Cocoa will get the ball first in the second half. Kicking the extra point is going to be Tyler Sapp. Sapp kick up and good. And with 10 seconds to go in the first half, Bradford is in on a 17-yard touchdown catch by Nixon. Makes it 13-7 as it's right back to a 6-point ball game. Bradford's offense struggling to move down the field all night, but they put their backs against the wall and they perform. Great 2-minute offense right down the field and leaves Cocoa with just 10 seconds to go in the half. So unless they spark a big return here, probably just going to be a quick knee or a run just to run out the clock. That's the biggest thing here for Bradford, just don't give up a big return and you should be all right. This one living up to the expectations, a tight game through the first half. 13-7 is the Cocoa lead. Again, kicking off will be Tyler Sapp. Sapp sets it on the tee. I wouldn't be surprised to see a squib kick here either from Bradford just to try and run as much clock as possible. Sapp will kick it off now for Bradford. He will put it in the air. Puts it deep. It is returnable for Cocoa. Back deep is Cannon McCarthy. And McCarthy gets brought down inside the 20 as Cocoa will have 5 seconds. That's one play. So they can either knee it or take a shot deep and try and break something big, but Cocoa will get the ball after half anyway. So one play here to end the first half. Tigers lead by 6. Cocoa takes the field now from their own 19-yard line, first down and 10. And yeah, you're just gonna see Champ Smith go under center and should knee us out into halftime as we take a kneel. And that'll take us to halftime here in the Kickoff Classic. 13-7 lead for Cocoa, but a great drive to end the half for Bradford. Gets them on the scoreboard. Cocoa will start with the ball in the second half when we come back here on the Brevard Sports Network. Again, your score is Cocoa 13, Bradford 7. Welcome everybody back here to the Brevard Sports Network as we get set for second half action here from Richard Dick Blake Stadium. First half action has Cocoa in front 13-7 over Bradford, in a game that has had some offense, but the defenses have shown through as Bradford's defense has picked up 2 turnovers off the Tigers, 1 interception and a fumble recovery. Coco's defense, though, has also had an interception of their own and has forced a turnover on downs as well as 4 punts. But the most recent thing we saw before halftime was a long but quick Bradford touchdown drive. They got them on the scoreboard before the half. As we come back into the second half, I'm now joined by a new member of the Brevard Sports Network, Brian Kelly. And Brian, we saw a good first half here. What did you see behind the camera for both of these teams in this one?
I just saw a really disciplined Bradford defense, especially in the red zone. You know, they bend, but they didn't break, especially when they got down to forcing a couple field goals in that game. And then on the flip side on offense, they stalled a little bit on the first few drives, but they showed that they could be efficient. And they were efficient on that last drive, putting up some points and getting this back within a 6-point deficit.
Yeah, for the Tornadoes, defensively, if it wasn't for those red zone stops, this game would be a completely different story right now. But that bending and not breaking mentality was huge, and that defense as well or that offense wasn't there for early on in the half. They barely had any first downs. That last drive comes up. They have less than 2 minutes and no timeouts, and they fly down the football field like a completely different offense. So if they can bring that in the second half, the Tornadoes could be set up to jump in front in this one, but the Tigers are going to get the ball first. Brian, what did you see from Cocoa in the first half that you liked?
I really saw, look, it's no secret Bradford had a few very good, favorable starting field positions, even starting in Cocoa field position multiple times, but Cocoa just forcing 3-and-outs over and over and over again. Until that last drive, they looked like a very solid defensive unit. Like you said earlier, they're the unit with more experience, returning more starters from the previous years, so that's definitely shown tonight for the Tigers.
Yeah, and Cocoa, that defense led by guys like C.J. Hester, the Florida commit, the Warner commit, and Duran Guilford, Okies battle as well. Another cornerback back there along with the FAU commit at linebacker, Tyon Jacobs, as well as Redman Thompson and T-Baby up front as well. So that defense definitely a lot more returning names, where the offense is some guys that we don't know as well wearing black and orange this season for Cocoa, but they've earned the nickname Dark Side Defense, and they are earning it right now, even with a new defensive coordinator with DeMarcus Manyfield coming in for Coach Matt Diesel. The defense not missing a step here early, and that's I talked with Tyon Jacobs and a few of the other defenders last week at practice, and when I asked Tyon about that, he told me that it's really like they haven't missed a beat defensively with a new coach, and sometimes that new coach can really lead to a regression of a defense, but it seems like Cocoa having no issues with a new coach there at the helm, and Coach Manyfield a great defensive mind as well, so no doubt that he would succeed either, but the fact that they've been able to come out of the gates like this and do what they've done in this game so far is strong, but I think defensively they can't have another drive like they did before the half, and especially in that quick tempo, because if you get in a late game scenario where Bradford's driving to win the game like that and you give that up, that's a difference between a win and a loss, but I know Coach Schneider had to talk with them in the locker room as well as that offense, and I think for both teams, it's just about settling down offensively. The turnovers a little bit more than I think either team wants in the first half. And for Bradford, a few too many punts and good field position as well. So, but those are the things you want to get rid of in the Kickoff Classic. I mean, Cocoa's playing at Merritt Island next week, a solid team in Brevard County, and one that would love to knock off Cocoa's Brevard County winning streak. And for Bradford, a good team as well up north in Baker County, one that's been known as a playoff force in recent years as well. So neither of them are going to come out and play a quote-unquote cupcake game week one. It's going to be right back at it. So to get these jitters out of the way is good, and especially in a matchup between two high-caliber opponents. As we'll get back to action here, third quarter sponsor is going to be Dean Stewart Photography. You see on the bottom of your screen. We'll tell you more about them at the first break in the action in the third quarter. But this game is wide open. It's anyone's game from here on out. 6-point ball game out of the half as it is 13-7 Cocoa. Bradford will be kicking off as Cocoa kicked off to open the game. And again, they started defensively with 5 consecutive stops. So that set them up with the lead coming out of the half, but now it's going to be the offense looking to take over. But we're talking about Bradford's last drive before the half. Cocoa's last drive before the half was their best as well, as they got in the end zone on a 37-yard touchdown pass to Tank White. White, one of the lone returning receivers on this team, and I've liked what I've seen out of Champ Smith as well. He's made a few miscues, but you expect that out of a new quarterback in a new system as well. And you talk about transfer portal in college, or transfer portal in high school is a thing now too, and that's definitely something to learn. It's a learning curve for all the players that switch schools.
Exactly, and it felt like both teams were kind of hitting their stride as we entered into the late second quarter. Let's see if that momentum carries into the second half, or maybe it was a little fluke. Maybe we'll see how the defenses respond in the second half.
That's the biggest part of the kickoff class, is to keep your eye on the way the teams progress. You want to see your team get better in 4 quarters. You may not see that in the regular season, but in the preseason, that's the biggest goal. And in high school, it's not like the NFL where you're benching starters. You're going to see the same names here in the second half. I mean, they're going to treat this like any other Friday night here. And as I mentioned, the stakes between these two teams, kind of the animosity they have towards each other stems from past meetings, but feels like more than preseason for sure. Again,
Absolutely, especially with the way the Bradford fans have traveled tonight, makes it feel like a good home versus road environment tonight.
if you know where Stark is, that's about a 3.5, 4-hour drive almost just for a preseason game. So that tells you the kind of fan base they have. And if you go to a game up at Stark, I mean, the whole town shuts down. They show out for the Tornadoes, so that's definitely a great fan base, as well as the Tigers. So that also adds to the energy here on the first Friday night of the season. As kicking off will be number 18, that is Tyler Sapp. Sapp kicks that one away, end over end. That one's going to go out of bounds. Can't do that. That'll draw the flag on the play and set Cocoa up with solid field position on the free kick out of bounds. We'll see where the Tigers take over here in the second half. As I mentioned, their last drive of the first half did see a nice touchdown drive that ended with a 37-yard touchdown catch and run by Tank White from Champ Smith. Had 2 field goals as well in the first half with 1 interception, no punts. Or actually 2 turnovers, 1 fumble and 1 interception, no punts, no turnover on downs on their 5 offensive drives. So it was all turnovers or scores, boom or bust for the Tigers in the first half. First down and 10, Cocoa from their own 35. Champ Smith drops, throws underneath to Jay Scott, who bobbles it and drops it underneath. That's incomplete, brings up 2nd and 10 for the Tigers. And that's another thing you kind of want to leave behind in these preseason games, is having a case of the drops. We've seen it a few times tonight, and it's going to infuriate the coaches, but it's better tonight than next week for Cocoa or Bradford for that matter.
Absolutely, especially when the stats don't count. You want to get out all the kinks early, even if it's a game that has such high stakes between the 2 teams who have seen each other before in the playoffs.
That's the key. These teams have seen each other in past, but only in the postseason. 2nd down and 10. Smith quick over the middle on the curl. And that is to Troy Silberzon. Gain of 8 yards. It's going to be 3rd down and 2 for Cocoa. Again, in the modern day, you don't see teams in high school utilize the tight end a lot. Troy Silberzon looking to be that guy for Cocoa this year. And he's been the favorite target early on. 3rd down and 1. Tigers at their own 44. They've converted every 3rd down tonight except for 2, but that one is going to be a false start on the Tigers, going to make the task a little taller, as it's going to be 3rd down and 6, as that'll put them back to their own 39-yard line. Tough break there, as it looked like they were trying to run the hard count to get the defense to move, but faked out the offensive lineman as well. They try the hard count again. Defense stays stoic. Bradford showing blitz. They do bring it. Smith throwing over the middle. High slant is caught. A big hit there. But a great job by Tank White to haul it in through the hit by Kaysen across midfield. 1st down, Cocoa. That's one. Champ leading his receiver up ahead, nearly into danger. But good job by Tank, not only making the catch, but kind of lowering his shoulder to tank that hit.
Cocoa back-to-back good passing drives. Looking a little bit poised here in the second half to start, already across the 50.
Again, that's what we've seen from Cocoa the last 4 years. They've had 3 different quarterbacks in 4 years, but the key mark of that, or what we've seen, is that they're still not afraid to let these new quarterbacks throw the ball. Even when they may be down, they're going to stick to their game plan no matter what. You're just going to have to adapt as they go with the little zone bubble underneath with room to run. And a great tackle down to the ankles again by Jaquez Kaysen. Been calling his name all night defensively. But that was Jamal Smith with the wheels down the sideline out of the backfield for another Cocoa 1st down, brought to you by Dean Stewart Photography. Now up to the Bradford 35-yard line, 1st and 10 Tigers, as they'll throw the screen again to the outside, this time to Hawkins, who takes a hit right to the gut there after a gain of about 2 or 3. Brings up 2nd down now for the Tigers. Again, that's the mark of the Cocoa offense too, the short screens, the short slants to set up those deep balls. This isn't a team that'll just run and gun down the field. They'll chunk their way down the field. And they've done that tonight. Play fake, rolling out to the right is Smith. Chased down, great shooting tackle. Ball up in the air. And they're going to say he was down when he threw that. It was caught by an O-lineman. But that's a huge loss back beyond the 45. That's a loss of 10 or 11 yards. Adam Franco is fired up saying he got that ball away. But either way, the O-lineman can't catch it. That'd be a penalty anyway. So
I don't know. It might have been a little better that he was down. That was a dangerous pass with a couple defenders in the area.
Smith hunted down off that left side of the line again. That's where Bradford has been getting consistent pressure. Now it's 3rd down and a drive to Stark for the Cocoa Tigers. 3rd down and 21 yards back to the 46. Smith drops back to pass again, has time, shuffles his feet, lets that one sail out of bounds as he throws that one away under pressure. Smith showing a little frustration there after ending up on the turf again. Pressure brought home by Parvelli Lee, who's been having a day on that left side. And for the first time tonight, it's going to be the Cocoa bunt unit. Now back to punt is number 67 for the Tigers.
And the odds a huge sack when you talk about momentum. Cocoa was putting together one of their best drives of the game we've seen. And to have the stall at midfield like that, huge for Bradford. Now they get a chance to go down and take the lead with the touchdown. For the
Tornadoes, they brought a lot of pressure tonight. They just haven't been able to get home like that. That was their 2nd sack of the game, but a big one. And then almost a 2nd sack in a row as the punt will get away there, spiraling down to the return man. That is Kaysen, who takes it on the run down the sideline, trying to make some men miss, but a nice tackle there by number 12 for Cocoa. That is Kyrie Brooks, who had both hands wrapped around the football, trying to draw it out as he brought him down. As Bradford will take over for their first drive of the 2nd half, trailing by 6, having a chance to take the lead on this one. Their last drive of the first half was their best one. It was a touchdown drive that spanned about 70 yards in about a minute for the Tornadoes. So we'll see if they can do that again. They don't have to hurry this time, but this time starting at their own 27-yard line for 1st down and 10. 8:56 to go in the 3rd quarter. Cocoa leads a low-scoring game, 13-7. Very reminiscent of the 2023 title game where Cocoa won it just 20-6. Bradford starts with a handoff right up the gut, and that's been their favorite back, Ian Addison.
Yeah, like you were saying, they had a little less time last time, so we'll see if now they're finding their groove, or maybe they had their hair on fire in the last drive, but already a good start in the running game.
As they'll go right back to it on the ground, but Cocoa is all over that one. 2 Tigers fly into the backfield and pounce on him. That's number 9 leading the charge, Jermaine Waters once again. He's been making some plays for the Cocoa D-line early, and that sets Bradford back for 3rd down and about 7 yards for the Tornadoes. Worst case scenario here, another 3 and out just to get all that momentum lost once again. While the offense isn't scoring as much for Cocoa, that's where the defense is just going to have to stand even taller. 8 minutes to go in the 3rd. 3rd down and 7 for the Tornadoes. Bootleg to the right for Cubbage. Throws underneath with a shot to get to the 1st. Spinning forward. That one's going to be a close spot. And it is going to be a 1st down. Nice play there by Camonte Nixon, the receiver who has their lone touchdown tonight. And that one catches it shy of the line to gain by quite a bit on a screen pass, but he gets the exact yardage that they needed for a 1st down up to their own 37-yard line. He knew where the sticks were, needed 7, got 7, and it's a Bradford 1st down.
Extra effort plays like that could be the difference. You don't put in 100% effort, you're looking at a punt as opposed to a 1st down.
Handoff up the middle, now bouncing the outside again is Addison. And Addison finally dropped down after a gain of 4 or 5, and he's been good for about 4 or 5 yards on 1st down pretty much every drive. And that's huge for this Bradford offense and helping getting them rolling. 2nd down and 5 yards to go here from their own 43-yard line. 2nd and 4 yards to go, rather. 3 receivers now to the near side for the Tornadoes. Tornadoes offense looking back to the sideline for the play call. 2nd down and 4. Cubbage in the shotgun again. Throws the pass underneath on the RPO look, shoving ahead. And the pile there at the line to gain. It looks like it's going to be another Bradford first down. That one by Elijah Lawrence on the catch and run on the RPO. Cubbage makes a good decision to put that ball in the air, and it nets another Bradford first down, brought to you by Dean Stewart Photography. First down and 10. Bradford kind of staying in hurry up here, keeping that tempo up intentionally this time. And a little miscommunication there on the handoff, throws it away. That one, Cubbage looked to his right to hand off. The running back went to the left, and Cubbage, good job improvising, just throwing it away, because pretty much no receivers are running routes if you didn't call a pass play. 2nd down and 10 for the Tornadoes at their own 47-yard line. 6:25 to go in the 3rd quarter. This quarter moving by a lot quicker than the first half did. The team's keeping the tempo up here, but it looks like we're going to get a timeout or some sort of stoppage here. We have a stoppage in play here. Didn't see the official motion to any side to take a timeout here, as I believe it's just going to be an official timeout to respot the football. So not a full timeout for these teams. They're already coming back to the field. It's just for the official to respot the ball 1 yard back there. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 now for Bradford, back to their own 47. Second down and 10 for Bradford, now at their own 47-yard line. Man in motion coming across, little jet touch pass, flag comes in as the receiver picks up about 2 yards. We got 2 separate flags on the play now. Cocoa defenders fired up there. One looks like a pre-snap penalty on Bradford. The second one had to do with the area of the tackle. We'll see if these offset or if they compound against one team. Off the jet touch pass to Peyton Jones. So we're going to get a hold on Bradford and a false start on Bradford. The false start will be declined. Cocoa will take the 10-yard penalty over the 5. It'll be 2nd and 20 now for the Tornadoes. And penalties like that are what can derail a drive. As I said earlier, those 10, 15-yard penalties, especially when it's not first down anymore either. Now 2nd and 20. And the thing is, for the Tornadoes offense as well, this game, they have not been built off of the big plays downfield. They've been marching their way methodically down the field, getting in those big plays when they can, but putting themselves up against a wall to get 20 yards may force them to change the game plan a little. Off the holding penalty, 2nd and 20. Cubbage drops, pocket collapsing on top of him here. Cubbage rolls out, throws up the sideline, and great hands there by the receiver. Camonte Nixon makes the grab inbounds. Shy of the first down, it'll be 3rd and short, but that's a great job. He got hammered once he caught that ball by the corner for Cocoa, but he holds on, keeps his feet in bounds for a first, or for just shy of a first down. Actually, it'll be 3rd and 1. 19 yards on 2nd and 20 makes it 3rd and 1, or 3rd and 2 rather, from the Cocoa 45. Back across midfield for the 5th time tonight. They try the hard count, movement early, but that's offensive movement. And that's what you can have as an offense. You got to watch the ball. And that time it was on the wideout, trying to get a jump on his route. Now we'll make him push back to 3rd and 7.
That's just killer. You finally get the big play, the 20-yard game we've been talking about that they needed so desperately. Get it to a 3rd and 2, and now it's looking like a 3rd and medium instead of a 3rd and short.
And that's going to lead to a Bradford timeout. With that, we'll tell you all about Dean Stewart Photography. Dean Stewart has been serving Central Florida families for over 30 years. Their outstanding photography, quality products, and friendly service is what sets them apart from the rest. At Dean Stewart, they strive to provide individualized attention to everyone they photograph. Whether it's your child's first school picture day or graduation from high school or putting on a sports uniform, DSP will be there to capture every memory along the way. For more information, call 321-952-9876 or visit www.dsp-photo.com. 5:43 to go in the third quarter. It's going to be third down coming up for Bradford. The field teams take the field after the timeout. Third down and 7 now for Bradford after the penalty. The false start set him back. Big third down here at midfield for the Bradford Tornadoes. Handoff up the middle, stuffed up front by the Cocoa front 7. And a big stop there. Bradford chooses to stick it on the ground even with 7 yards to go. Now fourth down and 7 right at the same line of scrimmage for Bradford to the 50-yard line. Fourth down. Looks like it's going to be a punt for Bradford as the quarterback slash punter, Kai Cubbage, will stay back on to punt. Back deep to return for Cocoa is Duran Guilford. As Cubbage boots it away, wobbling towards the sideline and straight out of bounds just shy of the 20-yard line, as that's where Cocoa will take over.
Costly for Bradford as they were driving in Cocoa territory, about to be at a third and short. Now drive stalls, now give it back to Cocoa. Hopefully we're going to go back up 2 scores again.
Tigers as well got to start thinking about that clock. They have the lead. You're not going to start clock burning in the third quarter, but you just got to keep that in mind. You want to try and elongate these drives, even if you're only scoring a field goal at the end. Just try and take as much time as you can off the clock. Obviously, still the third quarter, you're only up by 6, so you can't focus solely on running the clock because you still want to go back up by 2 possessions, but got to keep that in the back of their heads here, try and use the clock to their advantage. (13-7). The lead for Cocoa. First down and 10 Tigers at their own 28-yard line. Champ Smith drops, rifles one over the middle, into danger, ball popped up in the air, and luckily just falls to the turf off the hands of his receiver, Zay Hawkins, through the contact, and that is the worst sight to see as a football fan, as your team have a ball pop straight up in the air, and luckily the Bradford defenders don't find it before it falls to the turf. Brings up second down and 10 for Cocoa.
Chance to be dangerous. The ball was already at about the 40-45-yard line. They were daylight in front of the Bradford defenders. Cocoa dodged a bullet on that one.
Second down and 10 for the Cocoa Tigers. Scott out of the backfield. Smith drops back, throws underneath to Scott. Scott out of the backfield with some room to run. Jay Scott's got the first down for Cocoa. And as I said earlier, Cannon McCarthy more of that thunder back. That's your lightning back right there, and Javion Scott, as he uses his speed to get out to the outside, splits a few tacklers and picks up a Cocoa first down. Smith drops, throws underneath on the screen. Caught but hit immediately for a gain of about 2 yards on first down. Gets him closer to midfield for second down. And what'll be 8 to come as it's another catch for Zay Hawkins to the outside. Clock ticks under 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Cocoa still leads by 6. Second down and 8. Quarterback throws to the outside. That one is incomplete through the hands of his receiver, Jamal Smith. Smith in some discomfort there as he limps back to the huddle. It's going to be 3rd and 8 now for Cocoa, and that's a tough break again. Good throw, just off the receiver's hands. That's one Coach Franco will tell him, if it hits your hands, you're expected to catch it. And that one not the case, as it's 3rd down and 8 for Cocoa at their own 42-yard line. Third down and 8. Smith drops back, flushes to his right under pressure, motioning his receivers around, and he's just going to get leveled out of bounds there, and the flag comes in. And that is just not the right play if you're Bradford. He's going to run out of bounds anyway. You're going to see 4th down, and you choose to lower your helmet and level him when he was already out of bounds, and that's just not a smart play, and one that could have been avoided and could have easily been 4th down Tigers. Instead, that'll probably be 15 and a first down.
That's just another killer penalty for Bradford. Like you said, he was running out of bounds. You're going to get the ball back. You're going to get a force of punt. Instead, now Cocoa's going to get a first down, and there's 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Now you can start maybe run some clock, maybe run this down to the 4th.
That's going to bring him across the 50-yard line as well. First down and 10 Tigers. And, again, just a play that didn't need to happen. You have a penalty on a play that was just part of football, it's fine. But if you're Bradford there, you just got to give him a little shoulder bump and let him go. Because at that point, the quarterback clearly heading towards the sideline, almost asking you to hit him. Now Cocoa moves all the way to the Bradford 44-yard line. 1st and 10 Tigers. Smith drops back to pass again. Pocket collapsing, throwing underneath to Javion Scott. Scott gets dropped at around the 35-yard line, a gain of 9. 2nd and 1 Cocoa as they march down the field again. Cocoa hurrying back up to the line for 2nd down and 2. Smith drops back, quick screen underneath to Tank White, who dives across the first down line to gain. The Tigers will move the chains again for a first down. A drive that looked like it was dead to rights just a few plays ago now starting moving down the tracks again as it's another Cocoa first down to the Bradford 31. Split backs here for Smith in the shotgun. Low snap, rolling on the ground, picks it up, throwing in the flat to Silberzon, who makes the grab. No, he does not, as he had it initially, but through the contact, won't hold on. It'll be 2nd and 10 Tigers. Clock stalls at 2:05 to go in the third. We can start to tell the time in between plays for Cocoa starting to grow a little. It's those little things that can help run the clock. Incomplete pass doesn't help with that, though. Still the third quarter. Biggest goal in mind for the Tigers is to score a touchdown on this drive. Field goal wouldn't hurt either. That's 2 possessions as well. So any score here, taking advantage of the field position that they're in right now. I don't know Gonzalez's range just yet. Haven't seen him kick this season. I think 48 yards for a high school kicker out of the typical range, but who knows? 2nd down and 10. For Cocoa at the Bradford 31. Champ Smith drops back to pass, feels the pressure from behind him, and he'll just throw that one away as he gets dropped again by 2 Bradford defenders. I'll tell you what, Smith has got his steps in tonight, running side by side from these defenders. Good job. He has good pocket presence, though. He felt that pressure from the backside right in his blind spot there to flush out. If he stayed put, feet in the pocket, he would have got leveled on that one.
Bradford trying to recreate what they did last drive when Coco was in this territory, trying to knock him out of any sort of field goal range, force a punt, hopefully get this ball back here with a little time left in the third.
1:57 to play in the third quarter. 3rd down and 10 for the Coco Tigers. It's going to be a 5-wide set here for Smith. Third and 10. Smith drops back to pass. Throws to the screen. Silberzon got a long way to run upfield. Silberzon not going to be able to get it done there as he gets it just shy of the 25-yard line. Now decision-making time for Coco. And it looks like the offense isn't going anywhere, so out of field goal range or out of the range where they're willing to take one. It's still 4th down and a little ways to go. It's about 4th and 6 for the Tigers, hurrying back up to the line here. Justin offsides won't get him the first either. Still got to watch the hard count. Coco back in 5-wide set again, coming up on 1 minute to go in the third quarter. 4th down and 6, hard count, gets them to go. And now that puts them up for a 4th down and 1. And again, we've seen it work all night, and penalties have really hurt Bradford. And another 5 yards will now make it about 4th and 1 for Coco.
Yeah, like you said, it doesn't give them the first, but it makes it a whole heck of a lot easier now. Only got to get 1 yard as opposed to 6.
That opens up their options. We saw the Silberzon play earlier where they pulled him from tight end to sneak it. Got to keep an eye on Silberzon. Got to keep an eye on Champ Smith. They're staying in a 5-wide empty set for 4th and 1. They try it again, a little movement, but they don't cross the line of scrimmage. Everyone gets reset. Smith staying in the shotgun on 4th and 1. We'll see if they even have a play called here. They may have to call a timeout. 4th and 1. Smith still looking to the sideline, and they're going to have to burn a timeout now. That'll be Coco's first timeout of the half with 47 seconds to go in the third, ahead of a big 4th and 1. From here, it'd be about a 40-yard field goal try for Keelan Gonzalez if that's the route they thought. But I think 4th and 1, you just got him to jump. That's what you wanted if you're Coco. I think you stick with going for it here. Maybe drop the quarterback under center and go with a sneak, Eagle style or something of that nature. Or maybe you pull him off and try and hand it off to Scott or McCarthy.
Absolutely. And Bradford's already almost jumped again on that play before they called the timeout. So something to look for. They've already jumped off a couple times. You could theoretically do it again, or yeah, like you said, you could put the tight end back under center and run a little sneak.
I think they could do anything. I don't think they should pass the ball, but who knows? Maybe the defense bites. There's a lot of options when you have 4th and 1 because it's all a mental game. The obvious choice, QB sneak, but you can run a lot of things out of that to keep the defense guessing, and that's the biggest goal. And that's where the hard count comes in. If the D-line's ready to just, stuff the middle, they're ready to jump. Out of the Tigers timeout, 4th down and 1 at the Bradford 23-yard line. Once again, it's an empty set. Champ Smith in the shotgun. Try the hard count again, no movement. A lot of anticipation here. 4th down and 1. Champ Smith takes the snap. He's going to run the draw, but flags come in. And the play that looked like it would have worked, not going to matter. The full start, that's the 5 yards they just gained on the hard count. They give it right back. And now the field goal unit going to come out there. This one's going to be a big kick for Keelan Gonzalez. They brought him in from Cocoa Beach. This is going to be a deep one. This one's going to be, I would say, about 45 yards for Keelan Gonzalez, which for high school is on that upper end of the scale. If you can hit 40-plus, 50-plus yarders in high school, you're one of the best kickers around, and we'll see what Gonzalez has.
On offense too.
Absolutely, and this would put him up by 2 possessions. What we've seen so far in the Kickoff Classic, it doesn't look like they're running kick blitzes to keep the kickers protected. So he's going to be uncontested. Can he get it up? No. Knuckleballs that one low. And I don't know if that was tipped at the line. All the players had their hands up one way or another, though. That one nowhere near the uprights. And the end of a solid Coco drive comes with a missed field goal by Keelan Gonzalez from 40-plus. And now late in the third, Bradford will get another shot at it. Down 13-7. This one going to come down to the wire.
And that's a big win for Bradford, getting them off with no points, especially after that drive-extending penalty. got to feel good if you're Bradford, again, with a chance to go and take the lead here.
And I think if you're Coco, the moral of the story tonight has just been not capitalizing deep in opponent territory. 2 drives inside the 10 that ended in field goals. Yes, it's still points, but you're that close. One of those had a touchdown that was wiped off the board by a penalty. Right here, I know it's a deep field goal, but you're inside their 30 at one point. And again, no points on the board. And right now, you have 2 more touchdowns and a field goal. You're looking at 24-7, where Bradford really has had only 1 shot to march down the field and score, and they took advantage. And that's the difference right now that keeps Bradford in this football game, is taking advantage of their opportunities. First down and 10. Late in the third. Play fake. Quarterback steps out. Throwing out of bounds there to avoid the pressure. It's going to be 2nd and 10 now for Bradford on the throwaway by Kai Cubbage. And got a player down for Bradford here. Clock stops at 35 seconds to go. And you hope it's all just cramping here, and that's what you'll see the most in preseason. It's still hot as ever here in Florida. I think it was 92 degrees today. So I know football season by the end, we're wearing hoodies again, but for now it's still summer heat. So got to hydrate. Down on the play for Bradford is Peyton Jones. And again, we hope that's all it is. No speculation on the injury, but we're hoping for just cramps, nothing that's going to keep him out for an extended period of time. Jones is up and walking off. Players take the field again after the injury timeout. 35 seconds to go, 2nd and 10 Bradford after the throwaway on first. Now for Bradford, though, you're only down 6, but you want to make the most of these drives here. Want to have as little empty drives as you can, because not only are you not scoring, but you're giving Coco the ball with the clock basically in their hands.
Like you said earlier, it might not be a clock game in the 3rd quarter, but in the 4th quarter, it will 100% be a clock game. So the next time Coco touches the ball, if they have the lead, you can expect them to play with a little more of that in mind.
2nd down and 10 for the Tornadoes. Cubbage drops, throwing underneath, overthrown, and luckily the receiver got a fingertip on it, because that was sailing right towards Darius Phillips again with the green grass ahead. Deflected by Jaquez Kaysen, the intended receiver. 3rd down and 10. That would be the true worst case scenario. Interception, or even worse, a pick 6 right there. And Phillips has been there tonight. He had an interception earlier in a big return and almost had another one right there. Cubbage got to settle down. Those short routes are the ones you need for those quick yardage. And again, it's not panic time yet either. You don't have to throw balls that you wouldn't normally throw. Right now, you're still running your normal offense in the 3rd quarter. 3rd down and 10. Cubbage drops back to pass. Blitz coming. He's going to run a slip screen over the middle. The cross screen and a big hit. What a play, teeing that one up. That's Kyrie Brooks. Levels Elijah Lawrence over the middle. That's going to be 4th down and 11. And just like that, Bradford probably going to be forced to punt. That's going to bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter here from Coco. No score in the 3rd for either team. As we head into the 4th, it's a 6-point ball game as Coco leads Bradford 13-7. We'll take a break and be back with the players in just a moment for the start of the 4th quarter. As we welcome you back here to the Brevard Sports Network ahead of the fourth quarter of action, Cocoa with the football leading 13-7 as Bradford is going to punt here to start the fourth. Rolls in and is returnable for Duran Guilford. Guilford up across midfield, and a great way to start the fourth quarter for the Cocoa Tigers up across the Bradford 45-yard line. 11:48 to go in the third, and as we were talking about before the break, Brian, time management's got to be on the Tigers' mind. I still think the number one goal of these drives is to score a touchdown because 2 possession changes the game. I don't think it's run only right now. I don't think it's that type of clock management, but in the back of your head, you want to run it a little longer in between plays, and when you can, keep the ball on the ground or quick receptions. And especially with the starting field position they have, they can kind of milk it for now.
Absolutely, and you're at an advantageous position with the field position you have and the lead. And given the fourth quarter, again, 2 possessions in the third quarter is way different than 2 possessions in the fourth quarter. So again, taking a little more time in between plays and stuff like that can make all the difference in a close game like this. Only 6 points separating these two.
And a big factor, too, you go up by 2 possessions. Bradford only has 7 points tonight, so making that lead bigger than the score that they have on the board forces them to really turn up the tempo offensively.
Absolutely. They've only scored once in 3 quarters. If you score here, you're going to have to ask them to score 2 times in 1.
Flags coming in pre-snap. Schneider not happy at all. I don't think he's mad at the official this time. That's on his offense, and that's going to be offensive offsides, which is the rare call, but that means somebody was just lined up off. First down and 15 for Cocoa, not the way they want to start this drive. Now back to their own 40, or to the Bradford 49.
Again, these are the type of things you work at in the kickoff classic. Work out all the kinks, work out the offsides and stuff like that. Obviously, still not thrilled to have them, but better now than when it starts counting.
Exactly right. First down and 15 for Cocoa at the Bradford 49. Receiver in motion underneath is Cannon McCarthy. McCarthy makes the grab, turns it up the sideline. Cannon McCarthy with room to run. And a scary fall there, bounces right back up around the line to gain. It's going to be 2nd and a yard, but that's a big-time play from Cannon McCarthy, making a short play into a big one. Makes it 2nd and short for Cocoa and keeps the clock moving. Glad to see him hop right up there. Landed square on the top of his head there. Did a somersault on the way down, but McCarthy, a tough guy there, a transfer from Melbourne High School. Again, Cocoa's new athletic director, the former Melbourne High School head coach, David Kintai. So you see the connection there. He actually did end up getting the first down as they respot the ball. 1st and 10 Cocoa up to the Bradford 35 on a gain of 15 by McCarthy. Quick throw underneath by Champ Smith, caught towards the sideline, and straight out of bounds goes Zay Hawkins. Solid gain on first down, makes it 2nd and short. Tigers marching down the field again, and we talked about it after halftime, though. Cocoa's biggest thing tonight has not been cashing in these good field position scenarios. 2 field goals inside the 10-yard line in the last drive, getting inside the 30 and scoring no points. So this is where they need to change that course.
And I feel like some of that's been on Cocoa, just self-inflicted, but some of that's been on Bradford, big-time sack in that one drive that knocked him out of field goal range. We'll see what it is right now.
Quick throw over the middle, and the curl to Troy Silbers on. That'll be enough for another Cocoa first down, knocking on the door of the red zone again. But you are correct there. I mean, Bradford's shown up when it matters in those close field back against the wall. The Bradford defense has been there. Cocoa's one touchdown was a 37-yard pass, so that forced them to go bigger. But so far, Cocoa chunking down the field again. And we'll see what Bradford's defense can do. And this is where it's also going to be big on the Cocoa offensive line. Some of those new faces going to have to come up big for him here and keep that pocket clean. That ball's rolling on the ground. McCarthy picks it up. And if they got a yard there, that's positive yardage on a play that could have been much worse. That's another part of the offensive line, having a new center as well. That's something you got to get down, synergy between the quarterback and center ASAP, because that's something you can't have balls on the ground in the regular season, or even worse, over the quarterback's head. 10 minutes to go here in the kickoff classic. 2nd down and 9 for Cocoa at the Bradford 21-yard line. McCarthy motion out of the backfield again. Over the middle, Smith. What a throw over the middle on the slant, but great defense by the Bradford corner again, and it's just been a great night overall for number 12, Caden Karn. He had 1 pass interference early, but besides that, he's had everything locked down over the middle and outside for Bradford defensively. That brings up 3rd down and 9 for Cocoa.
Yeah, we'll see Cocoa was eating up yardage again on this drive, but Bradford's gotten into a third down. We'll see if they bend and don't break again.
Try the hard count again at this point. Bradford can't fold into that. 3rd and 9, clock stops on the incomplete pass. If I'm Bradford, I'm bringing the heat on this one. You want him in pressure, and here comes the blitz. Smith has a good pocket. Lofts one to the end zone over 2 defenders. Incomplete. Into double coverage, looking for Silbers on to climb the ladder. He can't haul it in. And they're sending out the field goal unit again. Last attempt, no good from about 45 yards out. This one will be from about 38 for Keelan Gonzalez. And I don't know if the last one was tipped, but either way, can't have one like the last one that didn't even get close to the uprights. With this kick, Cocoa could go up by 2 possessions with 9:48 to play. A shy 2 possessions just being 9 points, but that's all you got to have 2-possession lead. 38-yard field goal try for Keelan Gonzalez. And there was early movement for Cocoa. And that's going to make it even harder now for Keelan. That's going to make it a 43-yarder. And again, in this game, you're not seeing live kick rush like you do in a regular season game. That's just to preserve the players and for safety. But so there's no reason to go early on that O-line. You're not trying to get a jump on anybody. Just stand up. Going to be another long one now for Keelan Gonzalez. 43 yards with 9:48 to go. 4th field goal attempt of the night. He's 2 for 3 so far. 0 for 1 from beyond 40. Gonzalez, much better kick this time. Dropping down and through. What a boot for Keelan Gonzalez from 43 yards out. Much better than his last attempt. Puts the Tigers up by 2 possessions with 9:48 to play. And that's huge. Great redemption by Gonzalez. And that one looked like it could have been good from 45, 46 or more. That was a good kick from Gonzalez. I was down on the field when he was warming up, and the kid's got a leg, and he puts it to use there. 3rd field goal of the night for the Tigers.
Absolutely. And you know, if he's hitting like 40, 45 yarders, that could be a real advantage come later in the season for Cocoa.
But the good news for Bradford is, although it is a 2-possession lead, it's as close to 1 possession as you can get at 7 points. At 9 points. They have 7 on the board right now, trailing 16-7. Bradford, 2 timeouts to go, 9:41 remaining. But now you're starting to feel that fire burning behind you now that you kind of got to pick up the pace on these drives, and those empty possessions going to start burning worse and worse.
Absolutely. Like we were saying, Bradford's only scored 1 time in 3 quarters. Now they're going to have to score 2 times in the 4th quarter if they want to win this one.
But then again, that touchdown was on a quick tempo drive, which they're going to have to kind of tap back into here.
That seemed like where they were thriving on offense, so maybe it'll turn up.
Gonzalez chip kicks to the near side, runs up and returnable now for Bradford. Bradford up the middle, has a chance here. Ball is out at the end of the play. It looks like Cocoa has it. This could be huge. Cocoa players holding the football as we speak. Was his knee down? They're going to say it was, and that's huge sigh of relief for the Bradford Tornadoes, because that could have been huge as Jackson Parameter nearly coughed that one up. Luckily, his knee was down, and on the flip side of things, now that you can breathe, if you're Bradford, you have good field position as well now at your own 45-yard line. 9.5 minutes still to play. 1st down and 10, Bradford at their own 45, trailing by 9. This game living up to all the hype. Maybe not in the way scoring-wise as we thought, but again, in a year that, both these teams, even back in 2023 in that title game, it was 20-6 final, and we're looking similar to that right here. 1st down and 10 for Bradford. They're going to start with a handoff up the middle, and he's going to get swallowed up and driven backwards there by Jermaine Waters on the first carry of the game by Jarrell Harris. That's not the way you want to start the drive if you're Bradford.
I know the run's been their bread and butter, but eventually they're going to have to start throwing the ball. They're going to start air now. They only got 9 minutes left, but like we said, 9-point game. You got to start throwing it at some point.
9 minutes to go from Richard Dick Blake Stadium here in the Kickoff Classic. Again, next week, Cocoa will be at Merritt Island. Bradford facing off against Baker County, the Wildcats. 2nd down and 12, a loss of 2 to start the drive for Bradford. Quarterback turns, gives again to the same back. This time he's got daylight on the outside, and a big-time run there from Jarrell Harris. Let's see if he got enough for a first down. That was night and day from the first down carry. That one going much better.
And, you know, right as I say they need to stop running the ball, Harris shuts me up real quick, so breaks off a nice little run there.
Gets out of bounds, too. Clock, or no, he did not. Clock is running, so forward progress was stopped. 8:20 and counting, but it is going to be now 3rd down and 4 for Bradford across midfield at the Cocoa 49. This is the 5th or 6th time they've been across midfield tonight. Only one of those drives netted a score. Both teams haven't made the most of all of their opportunities so far tonight. Offensively, 2nd down and 5, handoff up the middle again. And fighting up close to the line to gain. I believe that should have been 3rd down, so this would be 4th and short. I think the down marker is incorrect. We'll see if the officials notice. Near side officials saying 4th down. That's what it should be. Bradford's kept it on the ground the first 3 plays, which got them some yardage, but the clock has burned almost 2 minutes since, or over 2 minutes since we started this drive. Fourth down and 2 for Bradford at the Cocoa 47 and ringing from the Cocoa sideline. Every coach, watch the ball. Can't jump off. They don't even try the hard count. It's a direct snap to the running back, and the Wildcat set gets him a first down, and that's Jackson Parameter. First down, Bradford. That was the young man that returned the kickoff. Now takes the direct snap, Wildcat, and gets him the first down. First down, Bradford to the Cocoa 42-yard line. This game far from over. And whistles on the field. Both teams still with 2 timeouts to spare. And got to get some equipment off the field before they restart play. It's a back plate thrown to the sidelines. First down and 10, Bradford at the Cocoa 41-yard line. And it looks like just a change of quarterback actually is up the outside again as a run for Jarrell Harris. An interesting time to change up the personnel. Harris first carry of the game on this drive. Parameters first snaps at quarterback of the game on this drive. And you could say it's preseason, they're playing backups, but now would not be the time if you're Bradford. Just knowing the intensity of this game and the way that these teams have treated it.
I mean, I guess you're right. Yeah, it is preseason. You could still try to test your guys out, but I mean, in a close game like this, I don't know.
This late in the game, too, I would have expected it after halftime, not 6 minutes to play. 2nd down and 7 for Bradford. Now at quarterback, Jackson Parameter. Play fake. Parameter to the right side. He's got some room to run up across the 30-yard line. That's going to be a Bradford first down. And as I'm talking about the backups, they're looking good right now.
I mean, maybe coach was seeing something we didn't because they've been putting together a nice solid drive here. They're getting a good something going here with just 6 minutes to go.
But on that same, conversation, it may not even be backups. It just looks like a different kind of set, as they're kind of running that Wildcat type play where, either Parameter or Harris can run the ball. But then again, that churns a lot of clock as we're down to 5:48 to go. That's 4 minutes since this drive started. So whatever the game plan is for Bradford, it's not doing what they need it to, as Harris is swallowed in the backfield and pile driven there by the Cocoa defensive line. And we got a player down and in some discomfort for Cocoa as one of the defensive players that led the charge there. It's going to be 2nd and long for Bradford. But, I understand it's preseason and if it is backups, but you got to question the timing there.
Absolutely. And with the way this drive's going, obviously it's been going efficiently, but like you said, time's killing, clock is killing. You would hate to have to settle for a field goal on the drive. It almost feels like you kind of got to catch him for a touchdown with how much time has been taken off the clock.
As well, it's been a 4-minute drive. At this point, you want to be on the 1-yard line. It's been 4 minutes to go 20 yards. That's not how you want to operate the clock. And again, nitpicking for a preseason game, but with these two teams and the way that this game has been treated, I know these players are treating this like it's the state championship.
Absolutely. And you want to practice how you're going to play later in the season, so especially getting these live reps here before the season starts, you want to give it your all. You want to play like you would in a week 1 or a week 2 game.
Elias Wilson, the injured Cocoa Tiger, getting help off the field. Now 2nd down and a yard for Bradford at the Cocoa 31. Clock stands with 5:29 to play. Clock is started again, 2nd down and 11. Again, the handoff to Harris up the middle. Nowhere to go, a gain of 2. It's going to be 3rd and 9. Tackle made there by Christopher Patterson. Third down and 9 now for the Bradford Tornadoes from the Cocoa 29-yard line. Here we go. Parameter in the shotgun. Play fakes, keeps himself on the read option. Parameter just across the 25. And he's short of the line to gain. 4th down and short for Bradford. Now, do they think about a field goal to make it a one-possession game, or are they going for it here? 4.5 minutes and burning right now. The Tornadoes not making any effort to hurry up here. There's a complete lack of urgency right now for Bradford. 4th down and 5. 4th down and 4. They're going to go for it. Parameter in the shotgun, tries the hard count. Cocoa stacking the box. Four minutes remaining. Cocoa leads by 9. Still looking to the sideline. Looks like they're going to have to burn their 2nd time out of the half with 3:52 to go, leaving them with just 1. And again, clock management questionable here from Bradford. Now with only 1 timeout left as well, if they're trying to make the comeback here, making it a little bit harder on themselves than it needed to be.
Yeah, because even if you cash in for a touchdown, Coco's got sub 4 minutes. All you got to do is get a couple first downs. With 1 timeout for Bradford, they don't have the ability to stop the clock the way they would like to.
It all starts with getting the 4th down here first and foremost. Because if you don't cash in on this drive with less than 4 minutes and 1 timeout to score twice, it's going to be tough. And now it looks like it may be the field goal unit possibly coming out here for Bradford. And this could be all or nothing for the Tornadoes here. This is going to be a 40-yard try for Bradford to make it a 6-point game. On to kick it is going to be Tyler Sapp from 40, his first field goal attempt of the night. 1 for 1 on PATs. Sapp puts it up in the air. That one looking wide left. It's no good. And after a long drive down the field of a 6-minute drive, no score for Bradford as Cocoa will take over. 1st down and 10 at their own 25, 3:47 to play. Bradford with 1 timeout. Tigers on cruise control now.
Yeah, and that burns because, you use almost 5 minutes of clock, come up empty-handed, not even getting a field goal out of that. That's tough if you're Bradford. And now Cocoa, like you said, driver's seat here for the last 4 minutes.
I hope for Bradford that's just the sake of being the Kickoff Classic and not regular season, because if that's your normal time management, then that's something you got to work on. And that's on the coaches, not the players. Players did their job, tried to march down the field, but they never threw the ball either on that drive.
The running backs were doing their job, and even in the Wildcat formation that they were running, they were getting some chunk plays, but it's kind of hard when you're not passing the ball.
Now Cocoa, 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Their starters still well in the football game. Champ Smith still is your quarterback. Jay Scott to his left. But Cocoa still no mistakes. You don't want to turn the ball over here. Scott scampering around the outside, holding on to that ball well. Slowly you can kind of see tempers rising down the field. Got to stay smart here on both sides. A gain of 4 yards. 2nd down and 6 for the Tigers.
Again, this is where, like you were saying earlier, the longer time in between plays comes into play. Really want to kill any chance that Bradford has in this spot.
Pretty much that and just running the football. You don't want incompletions or out of bounds.
Yeah, they've only stopped the clock once, so you don't want to give them any free stoppages.
2nd down and 6 for Cocoa at their own 24-yard line. Hand off on the jet sweep. We got whistles. Scott Still down on the play. It's going to be a false start on Coco, which will stop the clock ahead of second down and what will now be second and 11 yards to go. 2:54 to play. In the hopes of a comeback for Bradford starting to fade out of view. Second down and 11 for the Coco Tigers. Champ Smith in the shotgun again. He will toss it this time to Javion Scott. Scott bounces the outside. Good blocking. Scott spins out of a tackle and then gets leveled at the 30.
Good job staying in bounds, making sure the clock runs on that one.
And it looks like he got the first down. Big time run by Javion Scott on 2nd and 11 to move the chains. First down, Coco up to their own 31-yard line. A gain of 20, or to the 30. Or a gain of 11 yards. First down and 10 for the Coco Tigers. Bradford didn't make it easy for Javion Scott. First down and 10, a handoff again to Scott. Scott up the middle. And again, if you're Bradford, you got to know the run's coming, but getting a lot of extra yardage here. No more 2-minute warning in high school, so the clock's going to continue to run right through 2 minutes. Second down and 4 now for Coco. Looks like Bradford's going to keep that timeout in their back pocket at this point. It looks like this one is all about finish for the Coco Tigers. 1:30 and counting. Gotta wonder the time management for Bradford. Did they just...
Yeah, you gotta just hope that that's just a kickoff classic thing and not something that'll carry over to the season.
Jet sweep here for Coco. Flag comes down. Big time run though for Jamal Smith. That's a first down. But it looks like it's going to be a hold on Coco. So that'll negate that and make it second down and 14. Clock stops at 1:16 to play. Now that I look out there as well, it looks like backup defense as well for Bradford. So at some point they made the decision to change things up in this one.
I mean, I guess you can't hate it too much, getting some of your backup guys live reps just in case their players go down. You know, obviously reps in practice is one thing, but getting live reps is something else. But also in such a highly contested game, I don't know if it would be my move this late in the fourth quarter.
I mean, I agree. I think the backups in a preseason game, not an issue with me at all. You see that at all levels, but I'm confused why it started halfway through the fourth, not at the start of the fourth, not at the start of the third, or any real time marker. It just kind of happened, and that was that. Another run up the middle, running through defenders there.
You might argue it happened on Bradford's most important drive of the game.
Absolutely. Another big run from Javion Scott, who looks like he looks like a solid running back for Coco, and they've been looking for that for a while. They've had some good names come through, but it's definitely been a pass-first offense really since 2021 when you had the likes of O.J. Ross. And now it looks like maybe Javion Scott could be a very good asset to them along with Cannon McCarthy. As right here, this could be the last play of the game. 40 seconds to play. Smith tosses to McCarthy this time. McCarthy ripped down by the face mask. And that's just easy 15 more for Coco to get him the first down. That'll stop the clock.
That one on the bus ride home.
Yeah, just that one. You can see it from up here, so easy call for the official standing right there. And for some of these defenders getting their first reps, maybe their high school career, those are learning moments. One's coach says, just don't do it again. That'll be a first down Coco, which will now probably set up the last play of the game. The Coco Tigers looking to start their three-peat defense season with a big win in the Kickoff Classic against a very solid opponent that they may very well see at the end of this season in November and December. But for now, in the Kickoff Classic, it's the Coco Tigers again will kick off their 100th year anniversary of football of the year with a big win, not in the way many may have expected on the scoreboard, not the flashiest win, but a 16-7 win nonetheless for the Coco Tigers to kick off year 100 and their quest at a four-peat here under Coach Ryan Schneider. As the Tigers win it 16-7 for the Tigers next week, it'll be at Merritt Island at the O-Dome to finish, or to kick off the season. For Bradford, it'll be against Baker County another very solid opponent for them. So no days off for these teams after the Kickoff Classic. Once again, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Tales at the Barkery, Gamers R Us, and Dean Stewart Photography. Gamers R Us, you can find them online, www.talesatthebarkery.com, or call them at 321-305-4584. Gamers R Us, call them at 321-735-7057. And for Dean Stewart, call him at 321-952-9876 or visit www.dsp-photo.com. Brian, your final thoughts here from this one tonight.
Just a great game between these two teams, a low-scoring, gritty defensive battle. Obviously, there's going to be some penalties. It's a kickoff classic, but both these teams, I think, like you said, they can meet later on in the season, but they got to clean some stuff up here after this week. But all in all, solid start for Cocoa, and we'll get back. Looking forward to a good game next week between Rhode Island and Cocoa.
Yeah, iron sharpening iron tonight. Two of the top teams in 2A do battle. Cocoa comes out on top 16-7. Thanks to everyone for tuning into the Brevard Sports Network. And I believe we're going to have a post-game show tonight coming up soon after all of our games wrap up on the network, where we'll break down all the games here. And thanks everyone for watching the Brevard Sports Network. It's been a pleasure. I'm Jackson Robb here, signing off from Cocoa High School one last time for Brian Kelly, for the Bradford Tornadoes, for the Cocoa Tigers. I'm Jackson Robb. Thanks for everything, and thanks for watching the Brevard Sports Network. We'll see you soon